今日は Day2 ね。もう週明け EU もまた Day3、Day4 とやってるからね。エンスとワイルド、バータスプロとウルブズ。バータスプロは初登場かな。9チーム制なんでね。ポニポヤンさんこんばんいらっしゃい。BDS と G2。まあ、ここ一番大一番だね。マルタの決勝でも BO5 やったからね。で、フナティックと ITB という形なんで見ていきたいと思いますが。あ、それなんかワイルド、パックブルに注目って言われてた気がすんな、この間見てた時。カフェですね。行きましょう。またちょっと準備フェーズ飛ばす見方していきますのでよろしくお願いします。ちょっと音でかい。さあ見ていきましょう。お、一回スタートや。
I mean, he's always there, right? It's like, you know, no matter who shows up, if it's professional golfers or wrestlers, Punjay's always among. It's like he can do everything.
いや、この間関東 Day1 だいぶスタッツ悪かったからな。役割的には関東がキル取ってあげないとって感じするからな。このスカイズはあのスカイズであります。個人的に今シーズンの試合が前シーズンと全く違う試合の雰囲気になってると面白い。まあやっぱりスコープの影響が大きいね。ベースの部分かなりいじったから攻撃側の組み立てがだいぶ変わったかなっていう気がするね。ただまあどっちが有利不利はマジで分かんないんだよな。まあ防衛がまだ強いと思うけどな。
Just making sure all that verticality is out there really makes it difficult for the players of WYLDE to have a safe position inside the actual site where they cannot be challenged from a vertical angle. Now Nello is using some of these Kiba barriers.
まあネロがやっぱ IGL として欲しかったんだろうな。ゲンケンさんお疲れ様です。久しぶり。あ、これ英国の強み出たね。これ英国よ。外ロックの強さ。勝負するのは関東分からなくはないんだけどな。インはバンされてない中でウォーデンが先に落ちちゃうのはどうなのかなって気がしちゃいますね、これは。あれ、今キババリア投げた位置、あれだよ、ネルのポジション、カウンターの一番深い位置隠す位置でしょ。だからあれ投げられるとマジきついんだよな。あ、でも壊されてる。うわ、いやー強っ。いや、今いい覗き方してたよね。あ、でも手ぶある数字作ったぞこれ。うわ、いいところで見てる。めちゃくちゃいい見方してるそれ。いやー、でもドローンが。いや、これでプラントはいけちゃうね。プラントはいけちゃうんだよな。いや、韓国リーグタロン強すぎるよね。とか、ペア X がマジでやばくね。今日もボッコボコに負けてたよね。もう一枚が、もう一枚の位置が分かってれば、あ、でもほぼ特定できてるっぽいな。あ、ローカロング回られた。うまい。うまいね、今。わざと体出してピークして、間に合ったローカロングの車線に入れるっていう。うまいな。なんかカントが当たったところで他の人も当たってるんだったらいいけど、結構フリーキル取られてるからな。そのあたりがまあまあチームの連携どうなのよっていう一つはあれだね、注目点だね。出たシンメトリーテブ。今日はちょっと暗くないからそこまでシンメトリーじゃないかもしれないけど、バッチリシンメトリーだった。なんか結局キババリア変わってないじゃないか問題あるのこれ。 いや、もうちょっと球数ね、2マガぐらいで、普通の AR で2マガぐらいで壊せるくらいでいいと思うんだよな。41発って、下手したら3マガいくよね。低い。
Against here, the top of the hold. Hackle escapes as well as Ox. A little too late for the swing round there onto Heaven. So instead drops down and gets a bit of control. Slower than before, but obviously there's less you have to get your hands on here.
Good pressure over the top. Snako finds himself into a bit of a fight with Lolo's back.
ああ、ローロの位置は結構きついね。ローロ引けないんじゃないの？結構ローロは一人持っていってくれれば OK 状態だぞ。ナイス。ああ。あ、カバーラインの関東落としちゃった。
The start of star quality, but wasn't able to shine as brightly yet. Kanto knocked out.
ラペリングの情報あったの？いや、これはテブがチーム作ってるね。
Seconds of a round left to hand over the sort of body count and the man count, especially with how fervently they were draining on the ramp before. Attackers have recovered their diffuser. Luckily for them, you assume the Hibana's done most of the work, but Frenchie here against Nello. How aware is Nello? They seem to be very aware of his positioning. Azos is baiting the sound of the goo mine, but it's drawing a lot of attention and focus, easily caught.
今のはうまいな。わざと飛び降りて落とさせて。ああ、噛み合わない。これはしょうがない。よく一人持ってた。またテーブルにかかってんじゃん。ああ、今の1キル取れてれば。今の上でキル取れてたら話変わったのにな。イチさん、フォローありがとうございます。クリア2年連続グランドスラムは可能だと思いますか？優勝はすると思うけど、グランドスラムは 100% 無理だと思います。そんなに簡単なゲームじゃないと思うんで。個人的には NA が復権するんじゃないかなと思ってるけどね。まあ依然ブラジルが立ちはだかると思うけど。
More wobbly throughout the days, and we've seen it with
ENCE
as well.
火花当倍派。お、サイクロプススキンつけてるね。いやもうゾフィエもマジで足に戻してくんねえかな。今あの位置に打って反応するんだ。このサイト使ってる人多いよね。レティックル見やすいのかなこれ。死ぬほど見づらいと思ってたんだけど。謎のサイト。おお、気づかれてない。いや、いいかば。やはりテーブにかかってる。テーブが全てを握ってる。テーブさん。
Great opening coming through there. They definitely need that after how the previous two rounds have gone. Fallback from Pactful as well towards the horizontal part of the site, leaving just Kento up here. Manages to find a kill onto Azix and reinforcing
やっぱカントも英国なんじゃないの
？Now trying to put in some pressure, knows one of them is going to be on that train.
さすがに厳しいか。
They need to collapse together here, but
よ、すごいカバー。すごいぞ。1階から3階見てるぞこの車線。すげえカバーだそれ。
You see him looking horizontally as well. Someone could be coming up wide, someone could be coming up red to make the right decisions here, but it's a one.
おさむさんお疲れ様です。当倍が選べなかった時に嫌われてたイメージありますね。たまになんか誰かが限定で使ってたよな。またこれ使ってんのかみたいな選手がいるけど。強い。スカイズ当倍で強すぎだよな。
Still on the top floor trying to break their way down.
赤階段いるね。
Rotates come through on the back end. They've got themselves
さすがに時間もない。
dining becomes a little bit of a shooting gallery if you try and slip in. There's a single player.
今バックダウラかなり正確に打ち込んでたよね。それは見えんわ。出たシンメトリーテブ。好みでシンメトリーな感じ。テブが救ってるね、かなり。テブ6キル。ちょっとセットっぽいね。ハードブリーチ持ってないね。イアナがあれかな、 2.5 倍の ARX で復権してきてるちょっとあるかもしれないな。火花の当倍目立つよね。まあたまたまハードブリーチする人が当倍がいいって判断だと思うけど、俺思うんだけどさ、でもさハードブリーチする人って基本的にやっぱり後方じゃん。そうなってくるとさ、ロックとかが役割として多いと思うから 2.5 倍の方が理にかなってると思うんだけど、結構不思議な話だよ。いや、テブいきそう。出たテブポジ。テブポジ来たぞ。これはきつい。これ多分騎馬針投げたことの位置バレちゃったな。判断は良かったんだけど完全にまだ防げなかったね。
Because now, with him being the first body gone, with all of the pressure, the Candelas are putting their way in towards the top of red, the rotates come through from backball down, Kanto finds.
マグ当倍火花だったっけ？覚えてねえわ。
But with Frenchie watching and desperately waiting for that barb to make a sound before he gets the follow-up swing. Kanto knows he can't really take a step further, but it is a one versus one isolated, leaving a 3 versus 3 on towards the site itself. At some point, the pressure of time is going to be something that befalls the attackers. Backball gets another. Azox gets removed from the player underneath. He can rotate and maybe try and help Kanto's lead in, and suddenly there's a lot of pressure here onto ENCE.
There's a lot of the evil eyes out there still that are giving away so much information towards the defense, which makes it a bit tricky to actually go for. Don't really want to commit. Lolo playing closer on the bathroom as well. Is about to have a great swing into piano. Bulletproof is calling out for him. He leads into
ロールやっぱ強いよな。前回もすごい活躍してたイメージがある。おカウントがちゃんと食いついた。
The last one standing in a 1v3. Has the bathroom. Has the opportunity to go into the.
あれスカイズ 2.5 倍に戻ってんじゃん。さっきの当倍は一体何だったんだ。
Swings around wide with the Owler, manages to find himself that final kill, and the score is equalized. The rock there and hope. The PNFL round still going wild sway, so not too big of a trouble. As we're headed back down towards the basement. I did say up this time, you know.
You didn't say
going down.
Going down.
いい勝負やね、ここまでは。エンスはね、Day1 見ただけだと正直パッとしない。なんかティア2の時のインパクトほどはないな。まあ連携はいいけどね。まあでもやっぱティア1とティア2って結構大きな差がそこにやっぱあるからな。まるっと来てそのまま活躍できるかっていうとちょっと違うよね。ティア2の選手がティア1に来てそこでまあチームのサポートを受けたりとかさ、ティア1のコーチの指導を受けてフィットしていくってことは今の NA 見てたら特にあるかなと思うけど、じゃあ丸ごとティア2のチーム持ってきて成功するかってなるとなかなか難しいもんがある。このアイスさんこんばんは。
This was one of the more convincing rounds in terms of the fact that they managed to get quite some control off. Of course, lost 2 more players after that.
まあ上守ってないから広がるしかねえよな。1分30秒で広がって守れるかっていう話だなこれ。結構バックラムだからきついよな。 昔関東エンスにいました。いたよ。優勝した時いたんじゃなかったっけ？いなかったっけ？あの時はいないか。ペンタ入る前エンスだからね。うわ、来たこれピンカ LMG ダンマ買っていくぞ。リロードなしでもうこれは勝負だぞ。ライコス。もうライコスはもう完全に各部その10で当倍なんだ。 TCSG 当倍。ゴヨなんて 2.5 倍選びたい放題なのに。グリーミンさんこんばんは。いやこれ VIP が取れないからライコスの後が続けないんだよ。だからこれナヤが狙いに行ってんだけど、あ、関東のいいカバー。あと2人いるぞ。うわ3人いた。わーローローかわした。まーい。ドローンでうまく釣り出したね。いや、テブがいる。まだテブさんがいるよ。さっきの反省を踏まえて、キッチン深めに行った。むずい。テブさん一人持っていけたけどプラント通されちゃった。強っ。東雲さんこんばんいらっしゃい。シルバーさんこんばんお久しぶりです。いらっしゃい。今よくまとめたな。スモークが良かったね。エントリーの際のエリアに入る。あとプラントした後もやっぱりそのごめんプラントを守ろうとするんじゃなくてしっかり潰しにいってるのがいいよね。うわ何も差しぐりねえ。5年ぶりに実家に帰ってみてます。そんな帰省しなかったの？コロナあった時マジ帰省しできなかった。海外チームの方が 2,3 人の距離が近くてカバー速度も速く感じるのは気のせいですか？いや気のせいじゃないと思います。今の RJ は正直ガラガラっぽいになっちゃったから去年に比べるとやっぱりチームの連携度が仕上がってないなっていうイメージが強い。お、振り返り配信楽しみにしてる。ありがとうございます。カントマジで ITB でよかったのにな。いや結構 LMG フィンカの時代来てるよな。ガチ使いやすい。こっち下いるぞ。パクブさんOne opportunity to bite a player. Nello gets bitten himself and somehow slinks away. Nako does find Paxful on the top. No rotation. Yeah, Nello needs to this time round. The prep C4 won't quite have the connection. Nello almost gets bitten again, but he's able to flip his way around. Kanto.これ結構関東にかかってるね。ああこれ思い切っていったの正解だわ。トラックススティンガーがあるから行かないと思ったところ行ったのマジで正解。おおよく取れた。ああやっぱりネロが掘削のネロが耐えきれんかった。ネロのカバーがないんだよな。Get the lock in. Lolo has to rotate up. Kanto has to rotate down. They've missed out this moment. They've gone for the swing. Rykos has to cover a post plant and Frenchie. いやー今のやれてたら話変わってた。いややれた。いいコンビネーション。多分ライコス打ち込んだから位置バレてんじゃないか。このマークスマンでライコスも当倍っていう。いやーカバーできない難しい位置に。ナイスコントやりますね。そうだね、シャイコも LMG フィンカだよね。ね、タロンが本当にペングーとファビアンで劇的に変わるのかどうか楽しみだよね。まあ、実際結果は出始めてるけど、そんなにまだ関与できたわけじゃないと思うからな。
The defense side was where we saw most of it. We saw
カンドが抜けてくれたおかげでクリーズとオスカーのプロスペクト来たし、プロスペクトってどこだ。前回の CAG の国境の連携の試合からどれでもですか。かなりいいと思うよ。なんか8チームの中で俺は頭2つぐらい CAG の試合からいいと思うけど、どっちかっていうとただなんかチーム連携じゃないんだよな、まだあれ。なんかシューリップ君が特にそうなんだけど、シューリップ君のなんか立ち回りの良さで穴を埋めてくれてるって感じするから、もっとカバーが早いとか、なんかその決定が早くて意思統一が早くて一気に潰しにいけてるみたいな話ではまた違うと思うから。ニャコって言ってるこれ。ニャコって言ってんな。メーカーズにいたリーズって選手好きだったのに取らないのはなんでだ。そうなんだ。オスカーってさ、ずっとでも渡り歩いてない。オスカーってもうなんか中堅のイメージなの違う。国内で通用するか、いや、わかんない。世界ででもわかんないけど、なんか、世界的にインビ終わってガラガラっぽいになっちゃってるから、まあ、どこもそんなに連携なんかすげえなっていうチームは少ないんだよね、ぶっちゃけ。ニャコって言ってるよね。これ最強銃来たぞ、ARX。ARX2.5 倍マジ強いな。3v3。あれ、ワイルドなんか狩り使いがちじゃない？テグは使いがちなのかな？いや、ローロいい選手だよね、マジで。ローロガチでいい選手だよ。Day1 で一番いい選手かなと思って。そうなんだ。バラテラー。ブラックアイで情報取られてるね。話変わった。今度ブラックミラー関係ないじゃん。スタンがないのきついね。いやでもこれで情報取れた。イーソがいないけど、うわライコスの車線が辛すぎた。山猫さんフォローありがとうございます。SS エンジェルさんもフォローありがとうございます。アイデボンさんでいいのかな。フォローありがとうございます。
Find one, and of course they're looking to find that first victory inside of EUL. I mean, who wouldn't be looking for a victory if you're playing out here? They had a bit of a disappointing start yesterday.
メンバー変えてないチームもどこかふわふわ感し、試合重ねるごとにガラッと雰囲気変わるチームも増えてくるし、俺もそう思う。まあ 2.5 倍後、攻撃側の組み立てがほぼ変わったのが大きいと思うけどね。そういえばシェパード膝上げなくなりましたよね。そうなの？ここは見てない。次のちょっと第2試合注目しよう。でもそこ映んないかもしれないからな。お、カント LMG フィンカー。おい聞いた。いい攻めいい攻め。あ？なんで？なんでこのピラールーム誰も見てなかったの？何が起きたんだ今。ピラールーム管理誰がする予定だったんだ？やばいランクになってる。強っ！ネイコって言ってる。ネイコって言ってる。攻撃に難ありやな。いやワイルド結構いいチームとかなんか e スポーツチームとしてしっかりしてると思うから頑張ってほしいんだけどな。鳴り物入りで入ってきたんで。でも今さなんかスポーツ選手がやってる e スポーツチーム経済難でめちゃくちゃどこも苦しんでるね。
and see if they can make these attacks stick.
この間なんか風見ろのチームとかがなんかバロとか撤退だったっけかな。なんか撤退してた。
Some incredible plays happen here, but the weakness of this side is the fact that it's almost completely openable from a vertical perspective.
ブルーサンダースさん、累計で21ヶ月のサブスクありがとうございます。こんにちはというところで。ブルーサンダースさんも久しぶりな気がする。PSG も実は危うい橋ってことですか？いや、そんなことはないんじゃない？ PSG はだってスポーツチームじゃん。違うのよ。まあ、アグエルとメッシがやってるクルーは大丈夫だと思うんだけど、プロ選手がなんか投資みたいな感じでビシニュースとか、レアルのビシニュースとかもそうなんだけど、やってるプロチームがあるのよ。だから個人が投資してるっていうプロチームがあるんだけど、それが資金なんでだいぶ苦しくなってる昨今の状況が出てる。明日お昼ぐらいですかね。いや、ニトロは多分ブラックアイだと思うんだけどね。なんかブラックアイ対策をできてんのかっていう話かな。まあ一応 IQ 入れてるけど。テブいい仕事するね、やっぱり。今度なんだかんだでテブにキル追いついてきた。お、ローロがやっぱり9キルだ。お、カントがやっぱお前は 2.5 倍なのか、カント。
It read like it seems generally that's where the push is being sort of proposed from on towards the back.
ありがとう。
Brow is gone. None of the juggling.
まあチーム系はそうよ。e スポーツなんて特に厳しいよ。サッカーとかシステムができてるわけじゃないし、観客収入もちゃんとあるわけじゃないからな。千葉屋さんこんばんは。いやー、いい時間の使い方されてるね。ちょっとこれ詰めれないね。キルになかなか来ないんだよな、ワイルド。あ、これ動き待ちしたのかもしんないね。いい時間の使い方してるが、ただのスカイズの位置バレてる。さすがに。さすがに。ありがとうございます、クリーミーさん。千葉ヤンさんもありがとうございます。いや、そうなのよ。インビの振り返りしたかったんだけどさ、レギュラーシーズンが始まるの早すぎて、どっかで落ち着いたらやりたいけど、とてもじゃないけどレギュラーシーズンの方をちゃんと優先してみないとさ、RJL の実況にも影響するからさ、やれないんだよね。だって俺ブラジルまだ2日間見てねえもん。明日ブラジルもう Day3、Day4 来るのに。これでやっと EU が消化できて、まあ NA 昨日今日の夜この後やるじゃん。まあまあそれは週明け見ればいいかみたいなのがあるんだけどさ、ブラジル見ないとマジでやばい。なぜフリアが負けたのかも確認できてない。2日目。時間削れば見れます。そうすると俺の RJL の実況のパフォーマンスが著しく低下するんだよ。そうなのよ。もうちょっと余韻あってもいいよね。ちょっとレギュラーシーズンやっぱり早すぎてバタバタしちゃう。でもね、多分ね、アップデートとの兼ね合いがあると思うんだよな、シージの場合は。まあ一番いいのは夏秋やるのが一番いいんじゃない？クレアパピ任せて怒られるわ。リキッド戦は虚無になるだけなので飛ばしても OK。 いやいやいや、そこはなんか分析せんとちゃんとやっぱりなんでリキッドはダメなのかっていうね。マジで意味わかんないんだよな。コーチ変えてマイヤだったらまだわかるけどさ、なんでマイヤ取ったんだろう。今までのやり方で行くんだったら絶対ボルプスの方がいいんだけど。
That's going to be giving away a lot of information. I was just going to say, like, usually would like use the X cars as well for the mirror windows. We can actually use the S charges as well to try and break them with that way.
クレパピも喉苦しがってたり。
IQ is on the board, so don't expect
この
the
間
other one to be up for
で
too
もなん
long.
か
If
ね
it
スタジオがね
does,
悪いわけじゃないんだけど、なんか最近やったら乾燥するねっていう話はしてた。
and the entry kill with that will go towards
ミカ様実況やらせ
Yeah,
る
they
か。
put a bit of a risky strategy in
す
there.
げえ嫌がると思う
Minute
けど。
left, they're just trying to buy and waste
この間
time
ジャストダンスの
trying to
実
force
況とかも実況のしようがなかったもん。うめえとしか言いようがなかった。二人でうめえうめえって言ってた。野々宮カスタム第2回。めちゃめちゃ面白かった。ジャストダンス。ボルプスさん JP のチャームつけててより好きになった。 JP のチャームって何？日本の国旗のチャームってこと？いやこれプラントきつくねえか。下取られたぞ。あ、よく通した。
Oh, just a 1 versus 4. Azok still on the ground. Frenchie, no real way to get across the top.
いていて
Doesn't get anywhere close. Wild pull themselves back.
すごいテーブルの画面の見方だよな。椅子なんていうか全部体押し込んで見てる感じだもんな。ともぞうさんのマイクにクレパピさんの席が乗ってるのかしら。ああ、そうなんだ。
Now, as we just mentioned from ENCE, let's see if they can turn that around as well into
ローロいいね。
some consecutive rounds from their own side.
画面近いなんてもんじゃないよね。いやしかもさ近い人ってさ結構なんていうか乗り出すっていうかさ前傾姿勢になるじゃん。猫背とまでは言わないけど、ローロの場合おもろい、テブの場合おもろいよね。なんか画面目いっぱい引いてるっていう。まあ楽は楽なんだろうな。
There's just more attention being paid towards it. Also, Kanto having an incredible game, especially if we compare him to yesterday.
カフェはもう見た光景になるな。すげえ見た光景になるなこのあざみ。
There was almost this worrying moment of oh no, not again. I talked about it at the time, but then since then he's really stepped up and stepped in towards this. And I won't say too much more because last time I stat about Teb and he's only been able to get 1 kill since. But
前傾姿勢すぎて背もたれずっと倒れてます僕の椅子。ああはいはいはい、リクライニングしてるってことね。ドキさん背筋ピンとなってる。確かに。4対3使ってる人は画面に近いとは俺も思うけどね。いやでも英国だなやっぱり。
Already seeing the same amount of aggression so far coming now. We saw a spawn peek at the start, but that's about it. Azox though, as the window gets opened up, he's just waiting for a bit of a noise. He wants. Oh, the swings in, gets himself.
テブ今自分でフラグ投げて釣り出したよね。
Using that right really well to dislocate the player out there, finds himself with the opening kill, and that's a great opportunity for WYLDE.
風かもう異次元なのよ。あいつの画面の見方異次元なのよ。もうすごいノラレンスキン来た。いやーナイスだ。IQ は壊したいもん壊したんか。何が起きてる？近すぎ。このリテイクえぐいぞ。ドローン今見ちゃったのか？構わずいったな。まあでもだいぶ削られてるからな。それ勝っちゃいけないやつ。ラペリングモーション入ってんのにいくら正面とはいえ。上取れたのに強っ。
Now they have something to play for here because for the first time, ENCE are on the back foot.
You know, you get the best out of that situation again. Fight for
いやもうモニター倒してるといえばさ、バロラントのさエドワードゲーミングのカンカンだと思うぞ。あいつマジ水平みたいに画面倒すからな。ミラージュってノラレンみたいな経緯で崩壊したって感じです。いや全然そんなことないです。ノラレンはさ、言葉選ばずに言うとさ、貴族さんのパワハラじゃん。ミラージュはもうギャング。何もなんかちゃんとしたことしてなかった。なんかさ、その今回 NA で弾かれた理由をロースターで入る予定だった SBL っていうところがなんか理由を出してたんだけどさ、そっから最近見たら45度ぐらいになってたよね。俺も思った。あれちょっとなんかモニターの角度と思った。世界大会の時ほぼ水平だったから、ね、みんな真似するっていう。俺もやってみたんだけどこれ無理だろうと思ってやめた。ミラージュの話に戻すと、その SBL ってところが声明発表してたんだけど、なんかヤクザみたいな契約結ばれそうになって全然言ってることの話が違うから、これはやべえっつって UBI に報告して、我々もさすがに契約結んでこれで進めるのはまずいと思って辞退したっつって、なんか UBI に報告して透明化した方が今後のリーグのためになるからっつってと報告したっつって、クソヤクザみたいな契約結ぼうとしてたっていう。じゃあその詳細わかんないんだけど、なんかミラージュと契約してリーグに入ろうとしたのに、なんかミラージュのよくわかんない子会社と契約結ばされそうになってどうのこうのみたいなこと書いてた。
Just seems like over the past few rounds, WYLDE have 100% did themselves on towards the understanding.
いや契約の巻き直しが多分大変なんだよ UBI さんとの。特にミラージュってその NA リーグ発足の時からいたからさ、スキン結構出てたじゃん。まあ時間的に間に合わねえってことはあったんだろうな。いやまだでも究極のゴミだったなと思った。そんなヤクザみたいなやついるんだと思って。あらららららら、一網打尽ってやつじゃんこれ。もう完全に延長ですねこれ。爪が甘いのワイルド。この流れだったら3ポイントいけた流れだったのにね。今なんであそこの飛び出し見てなかったんだろう。3本も、あ、2本か。ラピリング入ってたのに。ヌックがマジで使いどころないよね。お、一気に来た。お前切ったねここで。やばい、誰も見てないぞこれ。うわ、ネロがきつい。また草く一人だ。ネロにフォーカスされてるかもしれないこれ。あ、でも弾道入ったの分かったね。ネロがよく耐えた。でもネロがきつすぎる。早く寄ってあげないと。いやでもどこまでロックさせられてるかこれ分かってないんだよな。気づいた。これテブにかかってる。これテブがここで倒せれば下取り返せるからニトロセルのアプローチができるけど、うわスカイズ寄ってきた。まずいまずいよっ。テブ、まあ一人持ってたら OK でしょ。しかもフィンカー落としたんだったら OK だろこれ。さすがのテブ。これ白海が取れてんのか。白海誰かいたよな。あ、関東上に上がってることは白海明け渡してるな。
The side is not yet under control from the side of ENCE. They do have the diffuser again. Neko will be able to find pack pools, so that's definitely a great start to the end game of this round. They still need to get into that top floor. They still need to descend down.
スカイズしか読みようがないよね。
And Kanto is right underneath the skylight.
カント冴えてる。あーこれ天窓とハッチ同時折りか。偉いね。クリアリングできてないからリスクをちゃんと考えたねこれ。 いや、これネロ一人。まあ、ガジェッター残ってるけどな。いつバレた。これ潰しに行くんじゃない？そうだよね。掘削広がったよね。あ、でも情報取れてる。2ドル残ってんだよね。うわあ、落とされた！開けたところ打ち込まれた。いい読みだったけどな、今の。今2ドルで1も打陣の可能性は確かにあったからな。ちょっとトラックススティンガーが嫌だったね。微妙に。
Now got 2 rounds tied together in a row. Technically, either side of the split here from ENCE, they've been in the highest pressure environment that one of these two teams has been on, of being on the back foot and the wrong side of a match point and pulled themselves back up towards one of their own. So at this point, they are truly tested and trialed by Fired. Towards the off to the concern at the jump out. Guys, Stuffers.
うん、なんだかんだワイルドの3人キルしてるね。でもなんか前回の戦い、デイ1はマジでカントが死んでた。2の9とかもそんな感じだったと思う。ボコボコにやられてた。
Small balcony tossing in that drone, just seeing if anything is safe. Knows about the player there though, but Neko already just falling off, not sticking around. Of course, that, you know, due to the fact that it is kitchen, verticality is going to be key. You want to open up as much as you can as the attack. And if you're playing around with the defense, you just want to waste some time. You just want to waste them from having the opportunity to
うわ、すごいとこにブラックアイついてる
open
ね。
that up as freely as they otherwise would.
一瞬理解できなかったわ今。
It's a sneaky camera. It's just the
I couldn't even.
out there.
If you didn't have the IQ, you would never see that. That looked like.
あー、リテイク分かった。これでかいぞ。やれない。やれない悲しさ。
He's ducked underneath the window. There's a second player for support.
Nice cover.
Oh,
Ooh.
out the trade, but then there's the pick back up and Lolo. He's pre-firing. I don't know. They
道路いいカバーしたね。いや今もさ覗きに行かずにさちゃんと壁越しに忍者してること分かってるからさ確実に目で視認するんじゃなくてまだそこら辺にいるだろうっつってちゃんと壁抜いて倒すの偉いよね。
And they definitely seem to be aware again as an impact just flies
いい勝負いい勝負。
It's basically shown the door like get out or we will take you out instead. And right now Nello and Lola are doing a lot of work here to open up vertically, make this.
これでもビップ取れてないからハッチ勝負はむずいんじゃないか。ああベーカリ行くのか。パックブルの多さがあるからな。これはどうするか。ポニーテールっつってたな今。
Instead of chasing, he's throwing in a grenade right afterwards to chase it instead.
He's going for the rotate round on the top floor. He's looking to see if he can try and retake vertical with 20 seconds left.
ディフューザー持ってるのパックブルか。
Suddenly they're going to find themselves.
ああ上取り返された。これで話変わっちゃった。ああまだでももう1枚上にいる。いやでもカント潰されるぞこれ。赤回来てる。いやーうまい。これ今スカイズが陽動して。うわ2回にフォーカス集めたんだここ。うますぎだろそれ。いやーこれはだいぶしんどいぞプラント通るけど。
In the back of the corner of the kitchen itself, Nello has to try and find a single route out here. 37 seconds for ENCE. The remaining 3 players.
こっちで1キル持ってってくれないとだな。ピンは立ってるけどだね。
WYLDE players holding out the sort of co-IGL pairing the swing onto the Oster shield. They've got themselves in the grenade. That's gonna.
これか。パックブルに注目って言ってたのこれか。これか。これか。
Not like this. That is so unfortunate. I mean, they found the one place where it was going to be able to get that safe plant out. There was no vertical challenging them there. They have the talent shield. And of course, it's going to be getting quite chaotic when you have 2 players pushing you there. But
これはちょっとやっちゃったね。やっぱりパックブルは期待を裏切らないな。次行きましょう。いや、これか。パックブル注目ですよって言ってたのこれか。次は VP とウルブズか。行きましょうか。あ、さっきの試合のスタッツ気になるな。ごめんごめん。スタッツ見ようぜ。ちゃんと EU 出るからさ。じゃあ、スタッツ見ましょうかね。ちょっと待って。荒ぶってる。どこだ今、関東、この辺で出てんじゃないかもうちょい前かな。あれ、チームスタッツ出てたよな。あ、これだ。はい、8対6。お、ライコス素晴らしいね。エントリーが8回取ってるから、やっぱオープニングキル取ってるね、しっかりと。ニャコート。テブやっぱ頑張ってたな。カントもまあ戻したか。ローロがまあアタッカーだからな。パックブルさんちょっとネロよりスタッツ悪いのはちょっといただけないね。ネロはやっぱかなり専門職だからな。今の時代の珍しい。やっぱパックブルさんだな。衝撃のパックブルさんだ。なんかテクニカルポーズいきなり出てるぞ。これ始まってすぐに出てるな。このさ、振り返り配信のいいところはさ、このテクニカルポーズを避けられること。ちゃんと見ると6時間ぐらいかかるからね。ビブモヒカンになってる。おお、ジャッカル・デイモス・モンターニュって面白いね。ザ・オレゴンをこれで崩そうとしてるのか。いや、これえぐいぞ。遊撃徹底して潰しに来てるぞ。これ今使ってる ?1 個は使ってるな。いや、これグーマイン投げるのマジで偉いよな。お、出た。インパクト流星群。来た。デスマークトラッカー。誰に行ったのこれ。これデスマークトラッカーが誰に行ったのかいまいちよくわかんないんです。SSG インビでは坊主にしてないよ。あれは本当になんかスカーズとの約束だったらしいから。あ、本当だ。デスマークトラッカーの横に出てんな、ちゃんと。バルキリー捕まえてんな。一応ちゃんと出てた。わかりづれえけど。出てるんじゃないか疑惑。あれ、シェパーさんって昔さ、モンターニュ使ってたっけ
？Getting all of the read on towards the hold here, the holes across the bottom of Freezer all the way on the long wall make it very dangerous to approach. The Bulletproof is just preparing the swing. Mowgli's tucked inside the full cover. In fact, pulls himself a little bit further around. Deadfoot's going to take that territory instead. They're aching for this early engagement. 50 seconds and all Virtus pros still sending the entire route together, almost to the head of a passer there by accident. Getting themselves to rotate, as he said, it's a hell of a secondary, and they're utilizing all of its strength. 30 seconds. So they're just going to see if they can try and pop the plant because of P4 on the long watch rotate all the way onto the backside itself. You can't exactly reverse plant. You can just sort of make your way in, brute force the rotate round. Mowgli gets down on the back end. The crossfire entirely pops out, and they just massacre here.
オレゴン地下来たな。
One player left. It's always on the back for 15 seconds. Wolves. I mean, they've played this defense perfect.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, for sure. They had all the crossfires out there being patient when they needed to. And I think Virtus Pro might have just leaned a bit too much into the shield there. I mean, you saw it. Like, half the team was behind that shield most of the time. And I know Montaigne shouts it, stay behind me, but they took it quite literal out there. I like the opportunity to really make anything happen from, like, multiple different directions. And, you know, just to lean back into the secondary out there that Damos carries, the .44. You make those rotates, and it's great.
そうね、ハンドガン当倍だね。
their sort of runs built on being able to grow into the tournament. They enjoyed playing in the first stage because by the time they get to the second with the tougher opponents, they're warmed up, they're ready to go back to back. They're inside that sort of mentality. Here, that's what Wolves have sort of had. They've cut their teeth, the fangs on that opening play day, and now they're going to see if they can try and utilize those slightly sharpened tools and tusks against Virtus.pro. But there's only so many times that you can sort of look at it and go, okay, but it's a game of two halves.
Imagine going in 6-0 now and then having it turned around again. Quick use of the S charge there, by the way, to get rid of that shield. Instant entry into armory as well, as they realize it's going to be safe. So the checks out there for any utility up on the lamp. Usually, Valkyrie cameras are being hidden in spots of lights, and it's hard to spot that way. No Valkyrie around, of course.
And they've pulled away the Deimos and the shield play instead of entirely throwing themselves at new. Let's go back to classic and old. Never mind, taken off alongside the Nuke Jam. There was one tucked in, but I think that impact might have actually destroyed the team gadget. Yeah, got the stop on at least the Selma as well. The second,
ダンさん22歳やで。
he didn't break out the catch a little bit too far along the wall, and now they have a little bit more width and wiggle room. But again, look at this VP. They're just full sort of sending specific sides of the site.
You kind of want to see that width there right now. You want to have someone around in like the main window to put some pressure down as well. I think Always going to be filling that role, but he's still currently worried about small tower. Like maybe thinking someone might be coming up that way. Before on that valve, trying to rotate up, gets caught off. Actually, a trade coming down from that direction. Aren't sure, but that should definitely not have happened as Mowgli's leaning aggressively into the breach. Knows about white stairs as well. He's trying to escape with his life, and he's like, no matter where I go, they will be right behind me.
This is the worry. You can see Always kept that Gooman in a long time as he pulled back, because with how quick Deadshot was to strike against the single fight on the double door, they don't want to give them any of these engagements.
そうなのよ。ダンさんこのサイトなのよ。
Into Shinka's waiting arms. They had the stretch player on Armory. The
英国ではないって。
top of the stairs and slow them down.
誰か他にもいたけどね。あ、あれかな？あ、違うわ。G2 で流行ってたのは別だったな。
Virtus.pro, the second time.
Still around.
カメラマン31歳と同じぐらいの衝撃。そうだね。俺30超えてるとは思ってなかったカメラマン。30超えてる人って CG 界隈ではかなりめずいよね。まあそういう人が出てきてもおかしくないゾーンには入ったとは思うけどさ。まあ18からやっててもね、まだ26とか27でしょ。お、拡大スチー大好き派がいたぞ。あ、NA かあれ。
Also, the Finca coming back to life here.
SSG で流行ってたんだっけ？
with the LMG, slightly buffed.
あ、なんか EU の別のチームだった気がするな。なんか EU の Day1 の時に見てた気がする。
And a lot of people said if you can control it, it is so back.
It's the backest it's ever been.
I mean, I think, back when we had the MG meta, that was the backest it's ever been. That was like one step below it now.
That was the back to the wallest it's ever been.
Yeah.
あ、そうだね。バーチューもそうだ。バーチューも結構年齢いってるなって記憶あったんだよな。
Handed to him as quick as we said. Virtus.pro, they seem to flock heavily and aggressively together. They're just held out by the first the smoke canisters. As much time that might be wasted to drive across Attic. You're looking at control of it, so you can sort of drop down, and Dan is the thirsting for the hunt here. Nothing is otherwise being put in place against him apart from a pre-placed C4 just on the connection here. They're hoping the ace goes adventuring, but as Joystick gets Mowgli on the back, then LMGs are a little bit back. He's holding onto these tower stairs for all he can.
He's quite stuck out here, right? Like he's just gonna have to start falling back down below. So no, he can still come up these staircases, especially if the openings have just been made. But he's also afraid of the fact that someone could have come barrels in the meantime. Like he's kind of stuck where he is. So he digs into Harry Potter. He's just gonna wait there, not gonna move whatsoever. And maybe come back up later, as soon as that plant starts coming down. to suddenly, like, you know, throw that spanner in and make sure that
ケンドリュー
a
24
little bit of a distraction.
全然そうは見えねえな。
Player the impact, dropping the explosion. They're making sure those Selmas aren't able to pop off here as they're looking to try and get some control. Just anything that can slow down this approach towards the top end. Shotgun is waiting for the swing round. They're hoping, trying to fight and the fight, but as they step right into the back of Shinka, they get always. Shepherd wins out one. BB can't quite find the connection, but as long as he's in this position, they cannot comfortably go for the plant. Tears the head off the one. Shinka's got Shepherd. They're just feeding bodies to Wolves at this point.
That went so well for so long, and then suddenly just all fell apart. Like they knew the player was down there on the bottom of the tower stairs, just didn't like pay any attention towards him. No drone to be set up in the basement to see if he's still out there. No one actually pushing in from the basement to see if they can challenge the person. Instead, they were just acting like it wasn't there, and they were just trying to get themselves into the side. And instead, you know, instead of the success they hoped to find, they find themselves just locked off and shot in the back, and then all having to go and hunt down those staircases.
Coming 4-3, the strongest start here, I think, is a very kind way of putting it for a roster where you expect a lot more heavy hitting.
And I mean, the Falcon camera is still around, and you know, there's no, you know, it's well hidden, but they've been struggling with the information for like a couple of rounds right now, and then not that that would have made the difference there, by the way. Like they knew there was a player down there, the player up there knew that there was some players on top of the staircase. But I think it's just the lack of that decision making to actually hunt down, you know, that single person who's been removed from the rest of his team. You literally 5v1 him and turn yourself into a 5v3 for the execute on the site. Also just walking blind into split. Just some of those examples. But as they got back at the shield, just hoping that they don't lean too much into it. Don't all get behind that Montaigne. Make sure that you are pushing from different directions at the same time and win your own gunfights. The fallback comes in from Wolves. The people on the top floor gone down towards the basement. Still have P4 around security, but the hatches open up, so it's a very safe way of dropping out. And he has some cover out on the staircase as well from Freezer. So as soon as joystick starts pressuring one, the other will show up to provide that support. And VP, then they need to do this together. They need to work together here. Flash one or flash both of them when you go for that fight, or maybe even put the Monty into play. Call him over if you may.
I mean, it's a network of shotguns, and the Monty's going to see if they can try and find the solution to it.
バータスプロ、これ初戦でオレゴン攻撃スタートって若干きついよな。
Because at this point they've wasted, yeah, sure, one cost utility, one swing round, but time is that big factor, a minute. And they still have to get to the eventuality of, oh, where are those 5 players that I talked about? Where are those missing links? All back at the site. Wolves haven't fed them anything.
They're all going down Freezer again, it seems like. There's 4 players around Freezer. There's just a single one that is on the opposite side of things. Now the Bees are going to be making things a bit easier as they know about the swings when they come through, but still.
なんかブラジルの大会200エントリーがあったんでしょ、チーム。すごいよ。お、すげえ。うわー、プランできんかった。今いいアプローチだったんだけどね。時間がね。
And they have to try and retake Deadman's land, and they really don't have the power to do it. P4 is on the road. Deadshot gets the cover onto one with Dan. At least gets the final piece. Aggro with the shield. Gets the connection and the drop onto a single player. 2 versus 2. There's 4 seconds. They have to try and retake the kit and go for the plant itself, but no time. And with the flanking player more than ready on Laundry Stairs, even if they held F, you knew how it was going to go. Closest it's been so far, but still not enough.
And that's also part of it, right?
まあまあここまではオレゴンだよな、防衛だよな。
Obviously, in here you are still that par for the course of it was 5-1 to Wolves on their defense yesterday.
アリスさん、累計で45ヶ月のサブスクありがとうございます。最近また CG やりだしましたが、まためっちゃ下手になってました。まあまあまあ。 すぐに戻るんじゃないですか。
Yeah, I mean, things haven't been going too great. I'm just excited to see how that one shows up in the opening kill and death.
Yeah, it's not great for my fantasy team.
No, it's definitely not great for your fantasy team. It's not great for VP either. We're currently L4 down and just taking out the Yana was great gun. A lot of information. Dan will strike back though as he takes down Deadshot. It's at least a little bit of a salvage, but again, like it's just a costly mistake.
Well, with a minute gone, and the only thing being a sort of trade-off, thankfully, in some sense, getting Deadshot. Mowgli goes for a bit of an adventure, gets caught from Dan, watching feet and ankles on the
Don't say about
Bibu is, I'm going to say entirely isolated.
まあでもジョイスティックも特攻か。
They could try and find somewhere else. Shepard is now upside down, repelling. Bibu is holding onto a shield with P4 and some connection chance here. Crossfire still set up. First burn of all of the ADS. The grenade might be followed, but it's actually the long watch across Armory Corridor. Still able to escape. The closet player isn't. P4 executed by Dan. That's 2 on a single spot with at least Shinka getting Dan back.
Yeah, great trade to come through, and 3-on-2 is very doable for VP, but you got to look at the control that they have. One upside down repel around the master balcony. We have a second one right below in lobby, and then we have always all the way over towards T3 trying to put up some of the pressure.
そうなんだ。CS 盛り上がってるんだね。いいね。
They're trying to put some pressure down onto the armory with those Bs, but no one's pushing out there, and Bibu's still out there. Do they know though? That's the big question, because they might just rely on the Bs confirming that it's clear. And now the drone's coming up from always. That should confirm whether or not there is someone out there. Oh, there you go. There is someone, but the fadeaway is there. So that should have been called. Bibu leaning into the fight. He gets the opportunity, but misses the shot. And that leaves Shinka in a 1v3 right now.
Well, he hasn't died yet, but this is the highest chance he will. 3 players caught a bit on a drone. The approach from the double rappel. There's 3 different angles here. Shinka's going to see if he can isolate the first fight. Gives his game away. And Pasha is able to get the final execution on the first round. Maybe the spill of their own blood in the first kill was what led them to success. They have guaranteed 1. They have guaranteed Wolves at least a repeat of yesterday. Can they try and push it a bit further here before the split?
The sacrifice they were willing to make, but I believe we will have a call in with Fabian.
Can you hear me, Amy? Can you hear me?
Oh.
Patience in the baggage.
14か。まあある数字だな。
And I mean, VP in that last round, they managed to find that success.
ダンさん、ブラボ好きだよね。
Of course, the opening kill, you know, giving it to your opponent by team killing wasn't really the greatest. But then we're looking at, like, you know, the places where we saw a lot of rotation and a lot of movement from the side of Wolves, and they caught up a couple of players that way, managed to bring themselves back into a numbers advantage. And Virtus Pro is, I think this is eyeing up to be just a lobby taken.
Oh.
Dan gets his head removed by Mowgli. And now you gotta go chase him. Where did Mowgli go? Is he still out there? Is he still gonna strike? Because, you know, as it looks like they're willing to go for a plant around this side of the map, you gotta make sure that that staircase is gonna be clear.
I mean, what a way to open it up here. What a way to sort of get a bit of a foot in. Dan was able to pull a couple of the kills, get the body balance into their favor on the previous round. No chance of that.
そうね、モーグリー、デイ1も良かったけどね。まあ、ただ、ちょっとあまりチーム全体としてのパフォーマンスは良くなかったというか、ちょっと若干イビ組疲れてる気はあるからな。
Jiggle to try and find out the position of Bibu, same as he was last time. All the beat jammers in the world set up on these pinch positions. And all it's doing is slowing down VP's approach.
You want to stop them from having the exact piece of information that could lead to your demise. But as you can see right now, a very heavy take towards the back of stage is coming through towards tier 1 of the towers. Bibu doesn't know it yet, but there's 2 players on his door. There's 1 in T2. Is the pressure this time coming in from below, though? That's what I wanted to see before, to have someone hunting down so you can really push him from 2 different directions, and it doesn't seem to be the case.
Now as Mowgli gets another connection, gets the second player off, the 50 seconds, they just have to try and send it straight into the blinds of Fenrir, and they're in position. Shepard is firing between beams, and unfortunately nothing can get a proper connection because they don't even feel confident enough to try and retake territory on the single sort of setup breaches that they have. They're forcing an attempt onto stage, and as another Fenrir mine pops into existence, it's like they read, oh yeah, Virtus Pro approached the tower stairs to take last time. Let's just slow them down. They fed entirely in towards the hold. 20 seconds, only now able to get themselves in to get the default camera dropped. And even then, you've got P4 swinging onto green. You've got Joystick trying to make his corner onto the side. They're looking through the drone hole. They have nothing to cover the deploy. Joystick gets one. Mowgli gets his third for the round. Another team kill against Joystick.
オレゴンだね。
Oh no!
So, last time it worked. Last time we sacrificed Joystick, we won the round. So he just went for it.
That's 2 rounds in a row. Joystick being team killed.
I mean, it's just very sloppy from Virtus Pro. Like, they had Brava, they had Twitch. Why is it such a problem for you to get rid of those FNATs? Like, that's a big question there. Also, again, why is no one pushing it from the basement to get rid of that one player onto the basement stairs? Those are 2 things that if you would have done that, I think your success chance would have gone up massively. I mean, stuff like that, you know, with Mowgli, there's nothing you do.
まあこれはしょうがないよな。TK は。またオレゴンだな。もうオレゴンいいよ。ファビアンは常駐コーチじゃないっすね、タロンの。ああ、わかんない。マップバランスちゃんと見てないからわかんない。攻撃選んだのかな。
You're putting pressure onto first hold, but the momentum and energy that you've built up, it's the biggest sort of trial by fire here. Virtus Pro might have all been together on their attacks. They seemingly all together on their defenses as well. 3 players watching this approach and cover. Pasha onto green.
何これ笑ってるやん。めっちゃいるぞ。いや、モーグリ作りに来た。嘘でしょ。もう一回ドローン入んないとちょっと無理だよな。足音しっかり効いてる。さすがにやな。いって。え、ここ戦うの？いやでもこれはさすがに待ってるだろう読みだろうな。そうだよな。VP も下がるよな。
They're all falling back now. 90 seconds wasted. All of verticality can be done right now by Wolves if they're quick. I haven't really lost too much out there except for a little bit of HP on Mowgli.
I'm a little confused. I mean, you know, now they're sort of full guns blazing. They wasted time. They played against it. There was a bit of damage done to Mowgli at the cost of
なんか文句投げたな今。
Yeah, there might be
マグネットか。
some damage due to some potential Hibana pellets.
なんか
Maybe get a bit of a track.
シェパードもこう何年守ってんだろうな。
There's still a lot of utility in
ずっと守ってるやん。
in terms of wasting the time on the site itself. So surely that is the read. But
うわすごい。これ 2.5 倍
sent themselves
F2?
sat and waited for something to happen, but didn't feel confident enough to go for the swing and the bite onto the players themselves. It's a drop down towards Dan, who's just eagerly anticipating this swing. They're fading the spray, the vector, a very direct gun. And instead, Shinka, is he going to crawl peek as the pressure comes onto Freezer?
Smoke's coming through. The fire is going to be popped as well. It's going to be one of those measures, as in like I don't know what's happening.
さあオレゴン地下になってる。
We have a bit of an opportunity. A double kill coming in from Joystick there.
もう時間ないもんだってボルカン燃えてるからこれもうメイン階段詰めれねえもん。いやーこれ10秒で起こしてもいや時間なさすぎる。絶望すぎる。もう何なんだよこのマップマジで。
It does put a dilemma on the attackers. Do we open it or not? Because if you open it, suddenly you're vulnerable for it again. Dan taking quite some damage from that LMG. Stays alive. He's definitely chipped for the rest of that round.
R6 eSports has just tweeted out. This is sort of unrelated. The Blast R6 skin has just been tweeted. And that looks very cool. Yeah.
I'm
Side note,
looking that up.
check it out on the official socials, but check that out. Death inside shower. Deadshot gets always.
もうちょっと思い切りがいいよウルフさん。
They have to lead in here. They've said there was a
ちょっと W7M 時代が戻ってきたんだよ。W7M 戦が戻ってきたんだよね。
Over towards shower, over towards the other side, and it's instantly been pulled apart. Single kill.
ウルブズが防衛戦とか、まあでもそうなるよね。
With the potential of a drop and a rotate from the hatch, they have to still be cautious. Green being softed as well, stopping them rotating back up towards you. And sent Pasha the very long way around.
I don't know if you've made the full rotation there, but definitely fell off at the last second. People opening up vertically has to be careful because Shepard playing right above him with the SMG. That's deadly when that rips in close.
いやでもアジトは超不人気らしいからな。
Plays an insane skill with that little SMG that could ruined a lot of lives and dreams for Siege. Now, Pasha coming up. Actually, going unspotted as a drone just passed by him. I'm not sure if there's a second.
エメブルは出てこないんじゃないですか。
It's a great opportunity out there. Shepard is being removed from his position.
まあでもアジトは多分入れるように作ったと俺も思うんだけどね。
Going on a bit of an adventure outside the side, but retakes on
うわ強っ。
Zulu. The swing round from
うわいいんだろ。
gets the body balance even. They push
お
deep enough to not get caught, but joystick
入んなかった今。
able to find a second swing.
うわーこれ階段落とされたからきついね。
C4 gets Shinka inside, and well, suddenly now the two remaining Wolves players at the bottom of white stairs with 40 seconds to go. The Buck wants to try and take an engagement.
なんかワンチャンビラ戻せばいいんじゃないか説ある。 ビラをスモールカスタムして戻せばいいんじゃない？海岸線はちょっときついかな。もうザ・オレゴンになってるやん。
Thinking about what happened yesterday.
Not time to entirely panic yet. And the deciding factor, it's a tertiary site you're attacking on. You only need to win the third site twice, and you get the map in OT. It's not the cleanest way of doing it, but it's still a mentality you can keep. Otherwise, you might suddenly find yourself in the tragic moment of having a 5-1 lead disappear twice in a row. Ram smashing their way across the top. They're looking to try and isolate some of these players. The coverage of the noise, but joystick isn't under stress.
入ってはないよな。外だよな。
Mowgli that gets the first engagement. He's got himself.
うわこれグーマインが重い。
by a Gumine. Shinka's getting the kit planted. They've tucked close. Pasha gets caught out.
いや頑張ってる頑張ってるウルブズ。
Bibu not entirely sure where he's under pressure from.
ああ。
But it's a post plant. 4 versus 2. Shepard doing everything. He's gonna hold on to the
そうカバーラインがないんだよこれ。空いてないからさ。
P4, you need to get a shift on Nate because oh no, too late. Out of time. They went for the smash and grab, but unfortunately for them, Virtus Pro invested in a.
ビラはよくできたマップだと思うんだけどな俺も。まあウルブそれはタイムアウト取るよね。なんかオレゴンだからなんとか使用感が出てるけど。
It's like, and again, like it didn't cost them anything, but it's so silly when you see like 3 players so close to one another. You almost never see that in pro play.
Just not just them being that close together, but from the start of the round all the way up to the minute 30 mark, they were holding the same angles, being like, yeah, come on.
アウトバックか。
Just going in low.
アウトバックも多分その2階のさ、牛のところ、ブルって言われてる通称のところあるじゃん。あそこの窓ロックされると結構分断されるからきついんだよな。モーグリ強すぎ。CS と PC のクロスはシーズン4じゃなかったっけかな。一番最後のシーズンだったと思うよ。
Which is being extended just so the Montaigne can push through. And Monty, like the shields have had that rework, right? So you can play them a bit more aggressively now, as you can all basically charge the way Blitz did as soon as you start walking. No more headshot galore coming out.
すごいところにひっついて爆発してる。
Actually have to ADS now. And like we've expected to see more of it to happen in gameplay, but like this game is a good example.
どうまとめるかだな。4人でも全然守れるかな、しか。
Especially in the basement.
お
It's unfortunate.
出た。アクシデンツ。
And now having the shield again in a 3v5.
これで話は大きく変わったぞ。
Potentially a good nail on the coffin to get yourself to 6.
So a 3 versus 5. They're still going to try and hold on as best they can. They have the player in Shaiko spot, smokes of Shepard are just going to try and slow it down, and the Flores drones force them further and further back, down with the rotate. They haven't locked it yet, but that the quick pop forces the player back round. They're waiting to catch this swing. That smoke canister. Basher returns a little too late. Everything's exploding. Shepard, he's not quite been locked in, but he's so worried about taking this swing. He's trying to rock with the shotgun as best he can. 40 seconds. Someone has to make a connection here. The drop inside E-Box always gets one from Shaiko's spot. Deadshot gets always has the coverage. 30 seconds. Shepard is still in a terrifying 1 versus 1, but Shinka has to pull back because he's the man with the kit. He cannot just sit there and wait for someone else to get the drop here.
いやでも残り20秒。うわー、ここ押さられたか。ワンチャン作ったんだけどな。ガスがないんだよな、もう。さすがに。まあファーストブラッド取れてからのラッキーさはあったよな。まあリホストかな。えらい時間かかってない？おお、日本にします。
Last time they were here, they have this habit of getting themselves in and putting aggression towards the site quite early.
NA が熱戦続きですごくいいっすね。BC 以外。ねえ、BC はちょっと間に合わなかったのかな。まあでもダークゼロも大概よ。2日目オーバータイム言ってたけど、昨日か。ちょっと NA Day1 なんだか Day2 なんだかよくわかんない状況になってくる。
Quick check of the drone, make sure there's nothing on the doorway there. It's gonna lose it to Dan. Looking quite aggressive here. Drone's still up. Forced to fall back now. There's actually slight pressure already coming down.
ミシは5年前の A パッドみたいな。時代は巡るか、やはりな。
Joystick finding himself at the top of towers, looking over the rooftops, just scanning if there's anybody out there.
ダークゼロもパンバが似た感じ。あー、なんか飛び出してるよね、確かに。なんかめちゃくちゃ飛び出してたらイメージがある。なんかわかんないもんだよね。もうアイコニック体制変えてさ、M80 は再出発したらそれなりに機能しててさ、アイコニックも SSG に戻ったり SSG に戻ったりでそれなりに活躍して SSG 勝ってるしさ、面白いよね。手袋さんでいいのかな。これありがとうございます。
Happy with their control of Armory's side. They're happy with a ping for Deadshot to go and try and track down around the back end of Showers and Zulu. Shinka holding on, waiting for an appearance. Pasha wins out. That's that Showers player gone. That's Pasha keeping things on a lockdown.
結構下がっつり守るね。
Last time he was disconnected. P4 has at least the connection with his head, but it's forced a bit of a rotate around. They lose Dockerby. They lose their flank cat.
Yeah, they also lose a single more logi bomb that they had available to them. Could have been very valuable as soon as they do go for that final bit of the execute. Probably now checking with the IQ scanner if there's any information, any gadget he can take out.
おい、船と壊したら大きいね。 これで大窓に行けるって判断するんじゃないか。なんでそこバリケードしまってんの？さっき誰か入ってきたよね。オキシゲンもゴメスとディアス入った話でした。まあもともとやったメンバーだからな、そこはな。カメラマンな英語に難ありらしい。いや、そりゃそうだよね。全然喋ってないもんな、あいつ。VC。うわ、よく取った。これで大窓の道が開けるぞ。ここでガス最後でしょ。わ、時間がね。そうだね、行くしかないね。いやー、勇姿も重い。オレゴンやのー。これで地下でしょ。オレゴンやのー。まあそりゃそうだよな。無理する構成にするしかないよな。来たデイモスとブリッツ。いや、これちょっと期待薄だな。アシュンとアイコニックは森さんがいろいろメンターやってるから見ます。森さんの貫禄半端ないから。
Success factor here. We didn't see too much coming out from the Monty, not too much success. The Blitz, of course, is a bit more aimed towards that quick kind of game.
おいっともう行くの
and he's going for it towards the box. He's fired at stopping him dead in his tracks. Dan will take
そりゃ
down
そうやろ。
Joystick
ああ、でもレイトが詰めれてる。
Dexter comes in to clean up the freezer. VP somehow still on top though.
さすがにボルカンが。あ、全然捕まえた人と違う人キルしてる。いや、これでもあるぞ。いやー、DB が重いか。どう出る？お、プロントしてるのバレない。よくいけた。いやー、ショットが強すぎる。また OT か。あれ、1試合目も OT だったよね。まあまあ、でも3時までには終わりそうだな。
For all the talk I sort of did about Mowgli, bringing him up as being the lead in, hasn't been able to get a connection over the past few rounds, the rounds that have really driven that importance. The grenade could have got the barbs, it has.
うわー、これバータスプロ有利だね。防衛できるから。
They've also got the angle down towards Pillars. It was where they were able to wrestle and wrest some control.
マジでザ・オレゴンだよな。
Seems well prepared for by Virtus Pro.
Also making sure that that drone is not getting too far. You don't want to get your Goyo pockets.
結局だってさっき通したのってパシャがコネクションロストした時だけでしょ。ファーストブラッド取れてはいたけど、でもあれで3対5に人数差が広がったのが明らかにでかかったよね。うまいドローンテクニック。
There's people coming in with a second drone, only gets a single one of those pockets.
なんかやっぱりボルカンとさ、ショックドローンのその割りが合わねえよな。ボルカンも3つでいいんじゃねえかもう。4ついらんべ。ダメなのかな。
Mowgli just misses the moment, but he's been able to get himself into blue. There is an isolated player inside Harry Potter. And if they've got uncontested, it's an Alda, which is an awkward gun to swing around in close quarters, but always has been able to make it work before, and he gets the first. Shinka left watching and waiting. Now they know this position. They get the trade out.
え？オールウェイズ今持ってったの？すげえ。
Joystick gets P4 locked in. They're trying to put the pressure down onto Highway itself, but with the dabble and the dance, On towards freeze the door. Bibu is just watching through flames and fire of Virtus Pro's hold.
いやーでもレイトの初戦があるから。
Might try and sneak
お、ビブよく取った。
Bibu sneaks a kill out.
いやでもこれビブーが見る位置が多すぎる。詰めないとプラントは無理だぞ。ガスゲレネード重すぎ。残り1個あるんだとやっぱ詰めないとダメだこれ。うわきちいローカロング詰め。ハリーポッターって言った？マジで。
Back down towards the basement. You have dead shots. Full Roman Explorer. It is pretty much
あらドンさん。
a reflection of the very first roster.
玄関打ち込んだらやられたか。
Just like before. Jackal is from the first round. The Capitao from the second swing. The two plans coming together.
ああハリーポッターってポチがある。ハリーポッターの映画に出てくるみたいなやつな。
Yeah. Not seen the Dokkaebi, for example. Or the thermite.
まあでも俺はハリーポッター見てないからわかん
On
ない。
the heart breach, of course, having the heart breach gadgets available to you, it's more than enough. You don't really need anything else. The hatch is most important to be opened up. There's a lot of hiding going on from Wolves, and whilst Mowgli is
ドローン
being
結構
chased
壊された
by
ね。
Deimos, that call out is going to be made, but you don't actually see the actual chase from Deimos itself.
ん？なんか一人ハイドしてない？
How much do they know about the player behind the bed? That's the big question now, though.
ハイドして
I
るぞ。
mean, if it's a Deimos that's gone untested, it's the Deimos that has been.
あらららららら。
Mowgli gets joystick.
な見えてきたね。こ
They've
れ
definitely not forgotten how to defend. And as I said, this isn't the round that's the test. The next.
なんかデイモス入れて遊撃早めに潰したいんだよな。
Deeper inside the freezer, always is still outside. You couldn't have someone as close as far away of the punch itself. Think about where the kid is. Think about where the players are. Think about what's left to be done. Virtus Pro's biggest problem was actually attacking the site itself. Usually they were very good at getting control of the rest of the map, and it was the final push that fell apart here. Freaking here! I mean, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible for sure.
ああエントリーで働いてんだここも。
And this round, it does seem
ちょっと
pretty
厳
much
しいね。
again. You know, it's never over until it's over. But how are they going to try and get away with this? The bees are
こ
starting
れ
to
ゴ
come
リ押しだ
through,
な。
but there's no rotation there for Shepard. He's going to have to go all the way around, go towards the hallway, start pushing back. But there's actually players out there, and as he's taking out a Guma, he's just being pushed out by the Legion. But hey, guess what? There's a second player out
あ
there.
ららららららららららら。
Impact are
シェ
just
パード
being
ゲット
tossed
だ
in.
ぜ
Just
始まっ
try
て
to
る。
go the right bombs in from the
オリックスか今。
and the flop.
エアジャブかと思ったらそんなわけないもんな。
I did it. Tower take. There's actually a player inside though, and are they aware? Now, we'd assume that they had a drone out there.
アキラさん
and
ご
they
めんいら
know
っしゃい。
someone passed by.
いやでもこれもうバータスプロが勝つ未来
They'll open
見え
up
てん
as
じゃ
well.
ないの？
Actually prone underneath the window that was just repelled up from P4.
Yeah, Joystick has played the T3 position a couple of times. I'm wondering
Yeah.
if they're going to try and just send it up into site itself.
えそのうち大丈夫
It
か？
looks like that's the play and the
ビクター
idea.
警戒し
They
ないぞ。
have to be as
これなんか早めに行きそうだな。
possible. The last time they tried a rush play, it did not work. This time,
いや結構えぐいぞそれ。
I mean, how aware is it? A very loud voice line before you go for the swing. The pop towards the back of Pit. The motion of Mowgli over towards Trophy. They're inside.
いやー
the
クロスだもんね。
shotgun, but it's caught out by Dan on the swing round. Mowgli and Dan one apiece, and now we're all guns are blazing. Trapped by Joystick. Rotates his way back in from Attic. Wolves.
いや行かないの偉いジョイスティック。
Vain hope that they could pull out a quick play, a quick strat and start.
まあ中の情報取れないからまあそうなるよね。
Dead shot, a slightly damaged Dan and a removed Pasha with a minute 30. But with Joystick locking off the chance of a tower rotate, watching towards the windows, all people is
Yeah,
going to find here is
こっから
disappointment.
だいぶ後の祭り感あるよこ
Too
れ。
late to the party.
まあ補強されて
Still
ない
has
から
a
ワンチャ
single
ン。
impact left on the lifeline, so has the opportunity to still continue on with that rotate. Extra reinforcement used on the other wall there. Knows that the player in pit, but the rotation instantly comes through. Doesn't want to be locked down. Also aware of the fact that we have someone out and about on the big window. A minute left on the clock. The second logic call to come through.
And VP just holding patiently. They know time is in
い
their
やー
favor.
万
They
事
know
休す感が
numbers
漂ってるぞ
advantage
残り時間あ
is
る
in
け
their
ど
favor as well. When you see P4 being
ディフューザーも
afraid
取れ
that
て
as
ない
soon
もん
as he
な
hits that barbed wire, a swing will be coming through. Now, it didn't happen yet as VP. They're taking it slow. They know they need to enter. They're just holding those
綺麗な
entrances
視点
right
移
now.
動だね。
40
Day2 ショッ
seconds.
ト。
Kit. Exactly where Wolves left it. The swing round against the bait of the drone itself, but look how far away they're playing themselves.
いや
Begging for
ー
a
絶望の
fight
F
to
ナット
discover. Fenrir is set up, watching and waiting. There's at least joystick gifted to Deadshot. Versus 3, but with 20 seconds, there's a second gift P4.
これさプラントいけちゃうんだぞ。
And the shimmy shake onto always a 2 versus 2.
いけるんだよ
Out
こ
of
れプラント
nowhere
が。
and nothing, the plant is being attempted to step in via the Fenrir mine. They're rotating
Oh!
around onto pit and Deadshot finds it.
嘘でしょ
First plant and absolutely nothing. Wolves have
これは圧倒的に
pulled this back from the
フルブさん有利。
between a rock and a French arc.
おおこれ勝つんだ。
Wolves, they might be
よかった
angry
ね。
at themselves for not getting the full 3, but a clutch like that at least.
これはすごいわ。
A 4-on-2 situation to rush completely failed.
よく最後まとめたな。
We're gifted with some miss.
酸素最強軍団来たぞ。
Begins here with
見ていこ
G2.
う BDS と
Leading on their
G2
defense now. Both these two teams were able to
そうね
get
ポジションが逆に悪かったのと 屋根裏でさ有刺鉄線壊してたの聞こえてたと思うんだけどなんで屋根裏を放棄したというか屋根裏ケアしてなかったよね今ねそれはすごい気になった
Sort of coverage of the plant game as well. They played the objective game very, very well. They were able to get themselves really cemented in here, D2. Because BDS sort of had the opposite. Everything was a bit of a brawl. They were more than happy to have it become the users from Shaiko show.
ドキ画面でかくない
Must have been a bit of a jump scare there.
いやなんかゲハでやってるのがマジすごいよな BTS 昨日も言ったけど昨日じゃねえこの間見た時シャコユニフォーム着てたあれ絶対忘れただろ初日あっつでもなんかチームにはありそうだけどなゲハだったら
One time he's vulnerable. It's no longer vulnerable. And it seems like he's playing the horizontal grip on it as well to get that extra bit of speed. So he's not that.
ホイミさんフォローありがとうございます
That tells you that he has no trouble controlling that recoil whatsoever.
Here comes the quick bit of pressure towards Alamau, force him further and further away. Now he wasn't quite the star player that he often is in the recent showdown. He was going to see if he could try and get the lead in. Doki!
おードキっぽい
I mean, he
ね
telegraphed his intention with that doorway. He comes back in, and the first body that he
強っ
removes being used. He's probably smiling about, but Alamau
嘘だろシャイコさん
instantly pulls the favor back into the
反応速度がいじれない
Flips
お
their
おお
way in, but you swung a little early there.
ブリーでも
Still see
今
ya.
ちょっと仕掛けるの早かったから
Shaiko, Solitov gets Bender, and this is exactly the sort of game that we wanted. All 10 players brawling and battling against each other here. Now, the body advantage is in the favor of BDS currently, but I said it was the users from Shaiko show generally yesterday, and they're both
ローテ
been
とかあるのか
removed, so it's time for, I don't know, a couple of other superstar players to show up.
The entire lobby is full of them.
いやドキの位置難しいねこれ入れないんだよもう
For now, G2 they find themselves
でも上取り返すっていう時間でもないしな
There is an opportunity
My-
to try a plan that's very ill timing there for Solitov. As he wants to throw a flashbang, he gets his head removed.
よくの今の前に出たね
Into the actual kitchen, seizing the opportunity
これで
to
多
take
分
that ground.
話変わってくるん
Relay
じゃない
starting
か
to fire back.
うわ
It's
ー
actually the
上から押さえた
verticality
り
that
いけ
comes into haunt them. Doki now trying to retake that
うわ
verticality
ドロ
as
ーンに見ら
well.
れてる
He sees the drone being flicked between. He misses the first
おお
opportunity.
ほ
We'll get it on the second try. Knows that that plant is happening as he drops right through the hatch.
お
He's
お
not able to find a kill.
よく勝ったね今のブリー
Relay
で
locks it off.
若干怪しかったぞ
There he is,
あ
that
暇なジャケット着てるぞ
Iron Man at the end of
コー
it.
チ
Relay getting some good control, getting a couple of pulls.
火花スカジャン来てるぞ
You see how much that. When the BDS started playing, he's like he was back then dubbed the best support, and I still think he's like within the top 3.
can always count on him, and he has such a clutch potential as well in those situations. It's like he's never losing his calm. He's always ready to go, doesn't panic whatsoever. Doki there, by the way, finding out about the air jab, so it's not going to be going for the run out now. Might reattempt it though, has those impacts to bounce it off.
来た。
Quickly pops their way in.
ワンパンマンダッシュ。
Being able to get a little bit blitz-esque. Current setup of how the operators can function. 3-day quick control here. Better on to back end of the Solarium stairs. The only thing being shown at them is Benja. He was able to pull an early kill. Now he had a slow start to the game yesterday and then became one of the best performing players.
ドキさん彼女できて見違えたからね。
So he's more than likely unable to get himself into that headspace, into that gameplay again. This Bride getting revealed here. At this point, we'd already had a couple of runouts. They are well aware of someone being close, but
いや、
not
ドキもよくピーク
entirely
するね、
close
今の。
enough to the head of Doki.
Still, he's still leaning into that fight, right? Like, he's just been spotted, just got some rounds sent towards him. He's still around to go for a run out. There's actually Benja that will find a kill into Yusuf. So Doki's no longer needed to go out that doorway that he was aiming to do so. Instead, went for the big garage door, hoped to find anybody on the double repel window. As look at the fact, Pink's coming in from down below as well as Bride drops. It's going to be a very unfortunate way to
ああ、
lose
バスルームの
your
クリーニングできてなかったんよ、バスタブの
I'm
中。
not quite sure.
あ、でも別の方向から刺してきてる。
Whatever it was, it pulls the
これ
shield
結構
out,
リケにかかってん
puts
な。
you in a minute 10 in a sort of man disadvantage fight here. Shaiko suffers, Virtue
さすがのシャイコさんでも
suffer even more.
この鋭角は無理だったか。
What are the two remaining BDS players going to be able to pull together here? The backline is still set up.
ディフューザー持ってない
In
か。
fact, gets Benja, gets the crossfight. The fire Doki gets a connection with Solotov. With 50 seconds, 3 players ahead of him. The sort of backline almost gets the drop onto Doki, who's only a sliver away. The mine being activated underneath his feet. A nightmare that lets Doki pass, importantly. He's now onto the left-hand side of the door. They had no idea about it. In the right that are so good and so sort of competent at getting into firefights. You kind of need all of them to shine. So your eyes go to players like Alamau and players like Solotov, who didn't quite have the same impact yesterday. Bandit Trip gets Thermite, and oh, there's at least the play against it. The roll of the grenade, 4 seconds to pop, gets that. They won't trick this, but they have now limited the hard breach pretty heavily towards the single smoke plant here onto this wall.
行くのこれ。
Yeah, that's it. There's no other
ああ、
way
ここ負けちゃった。
to deal with this. A Shaiko goes down
それでも行く。
by
まあ、グラズいるからな。
Plant attempted though in the middle of the smoke. There's no one to reply to it, and that means
反応早っ。
is there to provide
リケの反応早すぎ。
now counting down in favor of BDS. Solotov will find another great kill as well. A retake over the top 4 is going to be attempted by Benja, I believe, as they do still have the one player in the main stairs to worry about. Elamau is taking that fight up close, hoping to chase that one down. Finds the secure as well in the meantime. And Benja now finds himself on top of the mezzanines with nothing really to go for. They have some smoke canisters, but that doesn't block the line of sight. They need to have the challenge onto the players outside.
I mean, look at this. Just a
うわ
1-2.
リケのフリックエグすぎるだろ、グラズで。
Some practice inside the
あ、
shooting
シールドバしてきた。
Monty Bully for the final kill. BDS blow their way in towards the game at hand.
そう、シャイコがブルーを抑える係なんだよね、多分。
Field is reversed towards
少なくとも 0.5 階まで降りる予定だったと思う。
I think C4 would have been the only saving grace there for the side of G2.
From here on in, G2, can you get your response? Not going to go for the double dam this time. Instead, the stretch and extension towards the different side. Got Heatback popping himself in towards these engagement. Users has well, at least survived a round so far. But being the opening death a couple of times definitely hampered the pace he wishes to apply. It's one of those tough games as well, when you know your opponents as well as he does.
リケさんがその代わりキルを取ってくれる。
Getting your mentality on what is one of those games. You got a shot. Derby Day, Pre-Day definitely does. Inside the site with a kill to his name. Doki's outside the building with
でもこれね
nothing but a watch onto this.
プラントに行くのが
He
無人だ
really
よな
is tempted by the idea of a plant, but look at the rest of BDS flooding their way
上
in.
取られてるから
Day2
プラントの位置
know
が
they
む
have
ずい
to
んだ
try
よ
and
まだ
retake the vertical. That's all
先に
they
平面
can
取った
really play. If they go for the site itself, they're just gonna throw themselves.
うんまずはあれだねプラント安易に行かずに動かそうとしてるねああなるほどねただ G2 はソリスがいるからプラントに入るんであればソリスで見れるからっつ
And
って
they're quite quickly. The plant now being attempted. A nitrocell on the double window. Should provide some
これで
security.
も下見る余裕がないんじゃない
Stays alive, gets one. Doki on the
いやこれがアレマーの良さだよなあそこ突っ込んでくるもんな
As the
いや
cover
これで分かんなくなっ
eventually
た
is there. The diffuser is stopped.
これで
Recovered.
あでもソリス落ちたんだ
Situation to know of at least one of those players from G2 should know about too. Everybody's
Solotov?
upstairs, and the Solotov will find Uno. It's quite literally just around the back here.
ああ逆から刺したん
And
だ
if they are aware, I mean, they don't have a Logibomb anymore. It needs to come from drones or just, you know, sound recognition. Cannot go for a plant otherwise.
I mean, there, the confirmation to stop the kit going down as well came off Balamau getting a couple. He almost gets his third onto Shaiko. They don't have any more stims. They're not getting any more health for that.
いやードルで見られた
Virtue
パーチいいタイミングで降りたんだけどな
give himself a
強
little
っ
more to think about, but Shaiko has that connection, and Alamau, he's eked his way down the
おおあれ
stairs.
も負けてね
For Shaiko, he would have to ace to clutch this round out. They have the vertical. They're watching down on the hatch. They've still got to try and make the kit plant the drop. No, they've handed vertical.
Ah!
Over. Almost gets the back end of EFAC, who slips their way through, gets himself a rotate. He's concerned about the one from top main, but it's Solotov doubled up on the door. BDS.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna 7.
いや今の G2 動かない判断すごい良かったんだけどねソリスいるからそれでしっかりプラント見れば戻りのロックに入る必要ないよ上の人数で床越しに勝負しようっていう意思がしっかり見えてたんだけどねハルチョウさんオールありがとうございます
Still going to keep themselves rotating around on site itself. Try and find something else that can connect because he's got to make more than one set happen. They think it would be a bit dangerous to go back.
ああ飛び出しか
Doki's gone. Open up so strong with the first
うんちょっとドッキー同じことで狙っちゃってるからさすがにバレてきてるな
been locked out. Shaiko in that LMG like we're 2 metas ago, but making it seem like the easiest thing in the world to swing around. Uses as the read on a pretty injured Benja. He's able to somehow get himself back out of there.
Yeah, rotates through. Of course, that smoke kind of covered his retreat out there. It's not a wall, but they will not be looking through to you, so save them. Allow them to get back. But still, there is that numbers advantage for the side of BDS. There's the HP advantage as well.
いろんなところから手かけ
Free
て
day
るけどこれどう
quite
するの
low, but nothing really too much to worry about.
いるぞ
Shaiko entering, looking to go aggressive on Solarium. Does he know about the fire swinging? Well, he definitely
うまいねカキャラコンが
still comes out on top, but just barely.
おおよく止めた
Free day.
勇気のピーク
Definitely been
今バリフ持ってたからワンチャン合わなかった
far
か
in
な
this series, often the silent assassin, but he seems to have a habit of turning up in these Derby Day games against G2.
人数優しっかり取るね
Body advantages there as Benja almost
ちょっとエリアもなくなってきたな
dropped
G2
an impact and a chance to shine. Virtue playing the slight off-piece position.
ソロトフ置いてる
Solotov, but as the
危ない
drones come out, EFAC hits the floor and Virtue hits Solotov in the face. Uses and
Oh.
uses
2回潰れたか
doubles onto Benja and Alamau within a split second.
でお
I thought they were pulling it back. BDS
そこ
match
抜けんの
aside.
車線が異次元すぎるだろ
As you saw there, there's no.
I would does
Now with the new two new
強す
additions,
ぎんな
the BDS button.
it's the BDS button.
It wins rounds.
It's like, oh, everything seems dire. What do? Oh well, let's just win. You know. We don't have any control. That doesn't matter. Let's just get them out. Again, it's something that we, like last year, for example, said a lot about them about Cafe, where sometimes they have no control of piano, and then they just rush into the guard door and they somehow manage to win rounds. And you know that's starting to transition into different maps as well. And that's a really scary thing. If you're going up against them, you might do everything right strategically, and then 5 gunners just decide to, decided this is a gun game, an FPS after all. It's the kills that matter in the end that way.
いやでももうこうやって立体的にアプローチするよね。
But he finds users.
He gets the down, but he knows he's being hunted. So
いやもう異次元の打ち合い。何そのキャラコン。ヘッドラインずらしすぎだろ。
because it's all been pre-fight instead. Everybody sort of retreats a little, licks their wounds. Nobody wants to
なんかさ、
hand it
ユ
off
ズ
to
ス、
go
まあ
around.
ソロとフは全然違うけど、ユズスはさ、本当になんかここでキル取るのかっていうタイミングでキル取るからほぼカメラに映んない。
Themselves still pulls back every single player.
まあでも今日リケのいいんだな。
That engagement that carried its way across 2 stories. Uno is the
す
next.
げえ。モンタのハンドガンで弾幕張ってるぞ。
At the minute, it's all changed. No cap.
そんなことある？
Plays are coming out. Smokes as well. The execute must be coming in soon. I mean, I think they're going to try and go for like a reverse plant again. It's just that the magnets is stopping it really from happening.
これスモーク見えてないよ。
Actually on the rotate.
ようカバーしたなそれ。 あれ？
Swings the pistol, gets a kill, but now with the 2 versus 3.
まあさすがにか。
1 versus 3. Solotov almost had the first engagement in his favor against Doki, but at this point, he has Doki and 2 friends to contend with. Benja first taken off and well
それ勝ちますか
executed,
ソルトフさん。
but with a Solace still on the board, no impacts, but more than enough to spray through. He knows he has to try and play this kill game. Everything is being watched.
え、これワンチャン作ってもしかして。
Gonna tuck
あ、
himself
一バレ
into
た。
bomb chassis, but with a player still inside.
なんか階段にいること分かってそうだ。
Try and force the 1 versus
Oh.
1 down Zuno, but he has no idea. So he's wasting and waiting against more time. Doki again, the Solace.
ああ、忍者が
Wasting
分か
and
ってんのか。
oh, he's gonna run back and be furious. He's looking for a kill confirm on a player long since knocked over. The hop over the balcony, the catch to the Fenrir in mind. Doki's turned a corner.
うお、ギリギリ。
That is just 10 seconds. Take.
That's a wall.
4242。まだあるよ G2 さん。攻撃はね、
Impression of Fenrir.
BDS が通したように。
Today. Obviously with all the changes towards just how many
サンスワレス。
defender
あ
operators there are, you wanna get
デイ
rid
モ
of.
スバンしてるんだ。なるほどね。G2 はさ、あれでしょ、ドキがデイモスクソ強いって言ってたから、その影響でデイモスバンしてる。
The Valkyrie, which is banned. You have the Kiva barriers. the
BDS はもう
barriers.
メジャー決勝内定してるよ。
Doing quite well.
早い。い
Like you're working off that
や、ここからでも異常に調子上げてくるチームあるからね。特に LCQ が見ものだと思うけど
It's
ね、
better
ステ
that
ー
he
ジは。
finds it now instead of,
Yeah, it's very true.
in the breach and you finish it and then it's electrified because that is just pain.
3 days, he's got 2 claws here. He wants to sort of play against this game. I don't think he is actually
Manuel.
in time, but there it is.
わ
Perfect removal. Jacko does perfectly remove Doki as well. He's a little bit behind on the kill game, but now that is a Buki
ー。
drone.
しかもラムやってるからブギ動かないじゃん。
3 day gets Benja, who had actually found himself inside the site for a second there, but nothing else came on the back of it. But she takes a chunk of
ソリス
damage.
使うためにデイモスバンしなきゃいけない風潮が来てると勝手に思ってる。あ
The
あ。
balcony, but as he goes inside to try and find the next engagement, he's entirely unaware of Unis's play. That
あ
leaves
らゆるところ
Alao
見てる
and Uno,
ね。
two IGL voices with everything to
出
do.
たアレマオ。このスコープ。
There's one thing
G2 で流行らせてる男。
they'll be talking a lot to one another with what they have and what not. Gets the first opportunity to land a fight. Misses the opportunity to shot things
ユズス
around.
迷わず今ローテッドホールの方に走ってるぞ。
Situation in minute 20 on
そんなことある？
The fuser is down on the opposite side of the map. And as he starts making his journey over,
これは普通のフォロー
himself
な
with the
の？あれも。
MK14, actually using the telescopic sight with the hollow. So back into that decision again, whether or not you play that way, and Zellamau swinging every corner he can. It's just time being wasted now, and Usus leans in a flawless.
Felt Levitt were caught out. Oh, Doki
Placed on. But in the meantime, he's already tossed in the new electric wall, which, you know, goes off at that point and could actually catch it up. And that's the thing, there's a trade-off between the EMP impacts or Thatcher EMPs, because Thatcher EMPs have a way bigger radius. You would have been able to get it either way. You have 3 of them as well, so you can easily chain to make sure that there's no tricking going on with the claw. But here they
やってることそんなにさ、BDS 複雑なことやってないんだけどね。こういうキルも取れちゃうからな、ゆずさんは。ベンジャが息してないぞ。確か Day1 ベンジャよかったよね。うわ、いい差し込み時。ちょっとね、情報取れてないから見ないといけないところが多かったね。もう情報取ってそうだな、それ。ここで落ち着いてドローン回す。まだユズスが図書にいるからな。
Users playing right behind the display cabinet there. We still have someone up on the balcony. Alamao's currently droning, trying to find out any information. This is drone killed as well, so where that came from, he doesn't know. Afna is now blinding him as well. Has no clue where that is, so he's forced to rotate off. Potential cap trapped as well as it's on the board. Shaiko takes down Uno. And Alamao, now the last man standing, manages to make himself up to the top. Hoping to challenge Library, but they're coming up the blue stairs already. They've heard him. For a double swing. They know where he is. There's a shield there. There's no way he's gonna get in from that point. Fakes the drop, goes back up the ladder. Actually somewhat worked because they fell off and finds himself away into piano with 35 seconds left on the clock. It's just that's the issue. There's not a lot of time left. The diffuser's dropped outside. He needs to go for all kills. This is the opportunity for the first one on the shield, but still lands on the second attempt. And now as he's hopping himself towards James, but he's aware that someone is up above. He's aware that someone is inside the spot as he survives the first engagement down here on the ground floor. Walking through, he needs to get the pantry kill first. Swaps over to his pistol. Goes in. Doesn't get it, a cap control. And BDS find themselves up onto map and match point. For sure.
なんか行く時と行かない時の判断がやっぱ素晴らしいよな、BDS っていうチームは。メンバー変わっても。あとなんか行きたいけど行けないっていう、特に攻撃の時に対してはなんとかもう叩き壊すメンバーが揃ってるからな。今のあれもうまかったけどね。ワンチャン作ってたけど。うわ、さっきのはもう 100% 見れない EDD だからな。
Ironically, almost the first victim. That quick peek and spray through. This Doki doesn't quite get any of the work done on the wall. Unfortunately, watched for the last second. It'll stay electric for now. EFAC, he's creeping his way back up to Barao. Avenger, the next to take a great scrap of damage. And Doki gets locked out. EFAC, not sure if that was it. Was the hop out of the west main window. And Alamao Uno all beaten up on this approach. Draco's taking a bit of damage, but you're still looking at what is in pocket here for BDS, and they are just dominating this place.
いいキャラコンなんだけどな。入ったかと思ったけど、ちょっとずれたね。これだよな、あれもこの踏み込み。いけると思った時の深い踏み込み。いいよね。ドローンの数おかしい。確かに。フルドローン体制できてるね、実は。
looking to follow that up on one another.
おしい
TP's being tossed out. Benja loses his life.
うわ
Shaiko.
キャラコンが異次元。いや俺も強い。
But loses that opportunity. Uno shuts him
ウー
down.
ノが別の車線から抑えるのか。
Comes through, doesn't do any damage, but it's still a very explosive round.
Uno doing everything he can this round with the little amount of help he was offered from the very beginning, but it's still 3 versus 3 in 40 seconds. Going to try and turn this into one of their success stories, the first of what would need to be forced to pull this back and any chance of a point from it. Efat gets the rotate round, gets himself tucked down towards Trench and waits for
Model
a
も
approach
来たな。
here on towards what is the long telegraphed Uno above the hatch. Virtue outside the west main windows, and in fact, it's a very long rotate. The Tiburon's gone all the way to the
う
opposite.
わー何その丁寧なエイムで正確な感じ。強すぎるわ。今のエグかったな。
And I said it on the cast right when it was, jokingly 7-0 G2, but I said
マルタシリーズだと実は防衛で巻き返して3走勝ったからマジできつい。ああ、もう完全にそこもアジャストしてきたってことね。言語面でのコミュニケーション大丈夫なんて思ってたけど、そんなの急だったらどころかとうとうピースが揃っちまったか。確かに。まあでもシャイコとかあんまり喋れてないんじゃないかな。どうなんだろうね。あらまた3走。ちょっとフナティックの2戦目楽しみやね。どこまで仕上がってるか。俺 D ペグがさ一番画面見るの綺麗に見る人だなと思ってんだけど、どう思う？それはイケメン補正かかってるかな。めちゃくちゃ姿勢よくさ、ベルリンの時そう思ったんだよな。優勝してたオフラインの時。なんか D ペグのさ後ろから撮ってるなんか X の動画あったじゃん昔。俺がめちゃくちゃ綺麗かったんだじゃん。なんで BTS インビ行ってないんだ。いやもうそれはステージ1が全てだから今回はもうステージ1から 100% エンジン全開。もう前回の鉄は俺たちが踏みません。そういう話でしょ。新しい凸来た。これすごいね。ジグソーフットボールクラブ頑張ってるぞ。あ、これはハサミのキババリアの変更点が出ました。今の明らかにキババリア打って壊されてたね。いや、いいですね、いいですね。
I mean, it kind of changed the game slightly as, you're now either back on a one-time player or you're one that plays from above with a shotgun. Tyrant gets the final lock.
In this position where we can build on the step.
落ち着いてんね、フナティック。
Is never a great thing, especially when you have such a close loss like that. Like you'll just start thinking, like, oh, if I would have just been able to, play a little bit better, we might have been able to make the difference out there. But he starts so strong in this first round, and let's see if he can keep that up. As Fnatic has managed to stall away that first rush attempt to come.
朝の顔毎回切り抜けてないか。そんなことはない。多分アザは心優しい青年なんだよ。レオンがやりやすそう。まあでもお友達内閣がどこまで通じるかやな。
Pretty standard bulletproof to get
rid of.
Apparently a little bit late to react, but this is sort of that classic push that Kenny's going to attempt. If they can get the Maverick burn here along the wall of prep without being caught from a player above, he might be able to get the free call, but it's most importantly going to pull an important part of the hold away as soon as this is open. Just like that, all it has to be, Leon can now not comfortably or safely play that backline position. It is a bit of a heavy strike through. You can still keep the vertical and still try and stop the kit being planted inside itself, but There's now no way to comfortably and directly watch towards this single strike. The pit has been passed and rotated around once again.
これ行く気か？
Now with the potential of the capital bolt, it's also
よくかわした。あ、でもレオン2人持ってってる。レオンどこで2人持ってったの？1人は入ってるでしょ。もう1人小棒にやられたんでしょ。どこだ？
I mean, Leon did everything he needed to do there, right? Like he stopped that window push, he stopped that diffuser from being used as we just highlighted it there. Stuck in the window frame right now. So nice to go out for pick that up. Try again.
あ、2人やられてんだ。窓の2人がやられてる。別の車線がもう1個あった。
That's the worst timing ever to throw a drone. Just as the dropping comes, a flashbang is tossed in afterwards. It is going to be the Fnatic that blind the player out there as Creeds has managed to recover that diffuser. Going back up, Jigsaw missing the opportunity in the first attempt. Taran coming in from the flank will be able to get the trade out onto one. And now it's only up to Creeds. In a 1v3 situation, finds himself in the billiards table, looking to go into stock. But shut down. I believe that might have been able, even from the angle that was created by them. Place for over the game.
いらっしゃい、ビセブさん。俺がなかなかライブできないからね。
didn't really allow him to get going. But him starting off 4-0 right now, that must be such a confidence booster for him, but also for the rest of Fnatic, who, of course, in the previous roster were struggling with their changes.
安定した立ち回りを見せてるんじゃないか、フナティック。僕たちめちゃくちゃ警戒してんだ。
Change up, you might try and get done here. You've still seen you got an idea on. There's, I guess, a close to sight push. Look at the control that they took last time before they went for the plant here. It seems like a missed drone. And he has no idea somebody's tucked. Deepak just in the middle. Here's the beast going, so doesn't want to take a step too far, but
これ気づいてんだか気づいてないんだかどっちかわかんない。
all the pressure's coming up towards the Solarium windows. Noah's rotating towards the main side. Deepak and Leon both watching a single window. Now Leon was removed from his place
うわ
before.
キババリア溶ける溶ける。
Caught this time out.
マークスまで一瞬にして壊されるね。
So fair to someone potentially being around a big window, though, and that would have been a perfect strike out there. Would have really shut him down. Now, by ITB, but nothing really too concrete yet. Still trying to get themselves in on the top floor. Noah saw Hector, didn't fire. Leon will go down in the meantime by Creeds, though, as Noah's going for a bit of a bait, hoping to at least get someone into the line of sight. And as Jigsaw is looking to retake the bathroom, it is swings out, gets the kill into Kenny, and basically stops any pressure from the trophy side. And C4 as well from Tyron brings it back into Fnatic's hands.
There's that awareness of that player coming back to bite them. Deepak waited and held on for as long as he possibly could. Noah, he's about to find a fight in either window as Kreese gets some shoulder of support ducked underneath. Souljack is able to slip their way out. A minute left, 3 versus 3, and they're going to have to stop moving for a second as they finally get some vertical control. It's an important part of being able to get the plant down. Now you got to see if you can try and get the plant down. That still includes obviously cementing your control, and you don't have any hard breach. Get any of these walls.
全然見てないタロンの
You can only really do one take, which is on towards the hatch, on towards the kitchen side. How aware of Fnatic that this is the limitation put ahead.
タイラント5の0なんだよ。
A lot of information being gathered here, and it is the Gemini replicator that will find a bit of information. Jags, if you would have blown that up, that would have been a kill, I think.
ああ、なるほどね。ディーペックの判断で起爆って感じだこれ。タイラントが止まらなすぎる。下なんです。止まんねえな、フナティック。バランスがいいな。まあ、タイラント強いけど、まあでもジグソーがアタッカーか。アタッカーしてない感じするんだけど、まあそうでもないか。
I also want to beat Jesse J Chip. His fantasy league. 3 apiece.
So you want to beat the host?
Want to beat the host. 3 rounds of a Fnatic, ITB. Now they quite obviously struggled with their attacks yesterday. They were only able to pull 1. across the 6 rounds against Wolves and then went back to the match. They know it's far from over, but the disappointing
まあ
thing
言う
is
て前もクラインと
you
か言った
have
け
a
ど
half
な。
of your game that isn't able to connect across
多
the
分
two
一回
play
王者
days.
取っちゃっ
That is
て
a
このメン
very
バーでなんか
devastating sort of
緩みが出ちゃ
blow
ったん
for
だろう
Fnatic.
な。
You gotta work
緩み
on.
っていうと厳しいかもしれ
And
ないけ
if it doesn't, you know, herald the conversation of
ど、
what
もう一
makes
回
things
この
a
メ
bit
ンバーでタイ
tight
トル
is
取ろうぜ
then
み
is
たい
the
な意欲
conversation
が
of what
薄れちゃったか
matches
もし
pull
れない
back
ね。
and try and relearn, refocus. We sort of drive ourselves. They haven't
まあ
been
で
able
も
to
きっ
get
かけクソみたいな
first take here.
関東を外そうとした時のなんかチームマネジメント崩壊していったからね。
Okay, yeah, there is someone on the balcony and still wanting to go for it. And Noah, his attention is really divided as he's getting these flashbangs in, putting his back against the pillar to provide himself with some support. It is the kill from Oscar to come through though as he finds the D-pack.
そこをカバーするの偉すぎる。
And suddenly ITB have a bit of an opening here.
Gonna get Siren after a C4 does pop off, leaving just Jigsaw and Leon on the back line. Leon cannot quite make the connection with the jiggle peeking door, but they can go for the plant. Oscar just
それむずいねこれ。
cover a box. I don't know if Fnatic's aware of this or they're just waiting for this.
Oh!
It does rotate. Oh, the C4.
タイミングドンピシャ。
On timing. Now onside the double window. Gets the unfortunately swing round Creeds. Pops off as
いやーキルできてたら話変わってたからね。
But with the
大窓ロックが強すぎる。
encircling of this kit, of this hold, ITB, great response after their tech timeout to get their round.
ミーピーよりレオンの意見が通り出してるからびっくりした。まあそれをなんかフナティックに言って管理できるのかって感じだな。
Give credit. Missing.
結局やっぱ選手主導で動き始めるとどのチームもなんかうまくいった試しないというか明るかった未来はないからな。
Falls over. It's just hunting down some utility mostly. Seeing if you can find any F-nets, maybe some goo mines. Anything that will
まあでも
stop
タイムアウ
eventual
トって
boost from
ITB 一本通したのはいいんじゃないですか。
Makes his way all the way over. Oh, almost gets the bulletproof cap, but I believe he got zapped out by the EP.
ITB. Took a while to get the first pinch on some of these rounds. Made it count last time.
壊れる壊れる。
As they come in, it's might seem like the
これ
longest
が
way of doing it.
新
but
規
the
ババリで
BMR
す。
is very quick compared to what else needs to be sprayed against those keeper barricades.
It's like 9 or 10 shots with the BMR. It's like 36 from your assault rifle. Other Twitch drone just stepped out
で
there.
もあの時はちょっと本当になんか波に乗ったからな。だって前評判良かったわけじゃないからねローグ。
Drones coming in soon.
まあ
or at
強
least
かっ
smoke
た
shroud.
けど
They
ね
want
てんてんてん
library
って
under
感じ。
control. Tarn's still playing out here. How
なんか
safe is his
哲学とか
balcony
メ
guys?
ソッ
There
ド
is
があ
a
った
player
わけ
out
じゃないん
there.
だよ。
That's going to be the big question.
Keep us
As he
sitting pretty.
reinforces himself, he's actually gone on a bit of a stroll, finds himself picked up by Noah. And the entry kill now for ITB. That means Mezzanine can fall. That means the library will not
カント
fall
と
as
スポイ
well.
トだよ。
And they can start push their way downstairs as Noah does get picked up from the shield. But Jack's instantly traded out.
お押し返してる
ITB now with a
ITB。
2-man
やるじゃない
advantage.
か。
Here it is, ITB again, taking a while to find themselves comfortable to go for that first pinch, but as soon as they do, it suddenly feels like
い
everything
やそれは難しい打ち合い
away
だ。
from Fnatic. Leon gunned down inside the site, and remember how this went for them last time they are on it. 2 players caught out by Leon on the window, going for a quick plant, and here, the extra time taken to weigh up the options, weigh up
さ
the
すがにな。
flanks.
タイムアウト取ったから立て直してきてるね。ITB やるじゃないか。ITB 初戦勝ってるからな。3ポイント取ってるからな。
There's the potential onto one. How aware are they? The E1D gives
あ、そういえばワニパニシあれ見たよ。パックブル。ファイルドのパックブルのラストプレイ。堪能させてもらったよ。
We can do is using it, and it's always interesting to see. We see multiple use of it. One of them is the actual 1v1 hunt down. We sometimes see like the calls being given out by.
いやなんか途中まで普通にプレイしてたからさ、俺なんかまた 8% コースかと思ってたんだけど、全然普通にパックブルやってんじゃんと思ったら、最後の最後でどでかい一発かましてたな。
One of the two downsides on that gadget. Not sure if you can call the pistol a downside though. 6 rounder, 44.
いや、ハングリーがいないのが寂しいよな、やっぱね。なんかあれ、絶望のバウンドだったよね、だって。いや、なんか手前に落としたくて天井に投げたのはすごい気持ちわかるんだけどさ。それにしてもだよな。いいカバー。
On the back, I said they like to rotate back in towards the fight. So the Tyrant does go down on the back of getting the kill onto Creeds. He might be recoverable because Oscar's still outside. Thrown C4 doesn't really get a proper read. Cover of the smoke. Azza wants to get the finish on. He's fate at this point.
うわ、よかった。あ、楽しかった。
Well, that's actually just the end of Tyrant. Thought it was an insane moment
ガジェ
there,
ッ
but
トがないか。山田あるの押すか。
I agree. I was also thinking the exact same. It's like, oh, suddenly we're in a 2-on-2. Looking left and see that was actually the down that was confirmed. Still good drones in position though. A lot of information being given here, knowing that the entirety of Solarium is going to be safe. A flank drone that you could use for that as well. If it wasn't for the fact that they probably want to get a plant on from this side of the map. But underneath the bed, just to call it out for the rest of the team, okay? It's safe. Azir is playing low.
いやー、下からコントロールするのはむずくね。あー、ヒア入れたいのか。
Zazer wants to go for a plant, of course.
いいヒアじゃないこれ。
Opportunity there comes the fire. It's going to be forcing one out. Azir is waiting on the hatch, but misses the opportunity. The slight moment he had to find 6,001 HP.
いやー、これ入れないぞ。
And they try and shuffle their way in. There's a player just stuck onto the Kiba, and there's a
いや、超反応。ほほ入れた。
they're on 1 HP and they took a bit of a risk. It's now a 2 versus 2. Oscar's going to make the first plant. The impact
HP がないのよ。
towards them. There's Leon getting the catch and cold kit, and this round is bananas.
惜しい。よく2人で作ったんだけどな。
Closer than it probably should have been when it
Attack. We need to be in there.
Their win today, let's be honest. They won on the back of a final 2 versus 4 round. It really should have been
なんか ITV は強みが見えないよな。
It really should have been only one.
強みというかチームコンセプトというか。まとまってはいるんだけどね。なんかこれで勝つんだなみたいなのがあんま見えねえな。昨年はそれがあって面白かったんだけどな、ITV。
I would say that's a pretty more tried and tested foe at the minute.
They came in 4th in the side, right? So
パンチないよね。パンチなくても、パンチないメンバーでもさ、なんかアイディアで戦うとかいろいろ方針はあるじゃん。それすらもないんだよな。自分たちがパンチが弱いっていうところと自覚してないのかね。
Still information, valuable information that is being handed over to the rest of his team. And as the breach in the meantime on box is being made, Piano is going to be the most important player to clear together with Creeds. He's of course playing right next to the half on near the door. As soon as you manage to get either or, you have the opportunity to move. And as Oscar drops, that's the opening that Fnatic is looking for. Instantly after, Tyrant looking to go aggressive up into Solarium. Are they aware that he's pushing in after?
いや、いい刺し方。
And Azir will fall as well. I mean,
レーザーブルームシェル全然関係ないよ。
He's trying to find another for his trouble, but he's at least protected and given a second to breathe. So he can reload as the rotation comes in behind him. Jigsaw finds Creeds. There's the cover onto his army. They're going for the plant. The 2 remaining players give their game and position away. But in this second,
ただもう2回で完全にぶち当たられたから構ってる余裕がなくなってる。ダキクロさんおはようございます。パックブルのあれ見たよ。ご堪能させてもらって。シウさんフォローありがとうございます。
So as soon as a drop might come through here, Jax is going to be on the right end of it. He's hoping. Gets the player. Noah's gone. Kenny got himself in towards the site, but oh, he's going for the clever play here. How close?
そもそも車線通ってた。
they're against time at its properly. 36 bullets to get rid of that. It's a reload to go through. But it worked out well.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
よっ
Big attack. Oh, Jigsaw removed.
I mean,
クリーズいいね。
he's had a
10キル
rougher
か。
game than he had
気を吐いてるね。
yesterday.
かなり劣勢のチームの中で。
Luckily for him, his teammates have been able to step in.
Attackers dropped.
おすごいパス。
So it's quite funny seeing the kid.
いいパスすぎる。
Didn't even know it was animated like that.
The kit tumble.
Yeah, I didn't know there was physics on it that clever. I thought it just dropped.
That's not your favorite. Say it.
まあ一応リスキル狙ってはいたけどな。
Opening has been made though.
思いっきり走られちゃったからな。
Quickly going to be drone out, see if there's anything out there. Now, of course, last
そこまで狙ってるわけじゃなかった。
G2 and BDS, we saw multi-
とりあえず撃たれそうで危ねえからっつって
Not that there's a multi here.
引き走りしながらなんか当たっちゃったみたいな感じ。
Successful as well. No, for the last year, we've seen more wine cellar takes to come through in this site. Wolf force Noah to fall back. Oscar's still around though as he finds himself near bar. Not sure if he had a pocket jammer with him that he used to disable that phone or if he just turned it off by hand. This Tarman's hunting against the ping. No, he does not. Great will find a kill. That's a double for him. And Fnatic now 2 men down.
Putting the pressure on towards the sky, but unfortunately it's instantly impacted off, and the impact of Jegs is off as well. 2 versus 5, they don't really have any knowledge or control. It's sort of post-mortem kings, and Oscar's already rotated his way away from it. Epex spraying to go for a pinch on ground already cleared.
いいですね。
At this point,
無理し
fall
な
back
い
to。the site. You don't need to stress yourself. You've got a shotgun locked at the bottom of blue stairs. Anything they do is going to be a danger. Freeze is the one loose player left, and fairly is caught out by Deepak. 50 seconds. Some of the damage done vertically. They have at least some hard breach they can do. They've got to go for a trench take here.
ヒートチャージないからな。
Looking a bit of line of sight. Deepak just missing out on the opportunity for the Meister playing on the back there. More flashbangs coming through, but you know, just the fortress.
うわ、すごいポジショニングしてんな、それ。
Difficult to get rid of. Azar with
めちゃくちゃ狭い空間に潜んでるね。これは無理やで。いや、やっぱ引き続きアザミは強いの。
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
I remember when Mirror came out, and that was like game changing.
Keep it deployed.
Never had anything like that.
Mirror coming out changed the whole game.
Yeah.
You can't say that for every operator, unfortunately. Well, actually, probably,
impossible,
fortunately, if every operator changed the entire game every single time.
I feel sorry for these pros, just having to relearn the game every single time.
Leon,
うわ、あれは刺しにいた。
very quick in an approach towards the site. Hit by a prox that he's worried about exactly that play. Kenny was not the one to get the strike. In fact, it was
ああ、引きに対して
He
寄っ
rotated
て
his
きた
way
のか。
background. Leon didn't have any support. Jigsaw's going to see if he can just find the fight. There's pings on the player, sat waiting. Is he going to try and go for the pre-fire? He is, but Jigsaw had the drop
半分は持ってい
entirely
かれ
on
た
that.
と。
That is unfortunately an arrow that hasn't gone where it needs to go, and that one didn't hit it either. The track stingers aren't quite going to get the full damage done. The player can escape.
Oscar surviving there with his life, and indeed the fire arrow being caught up by the magnet. Second one, of course. The first one, rather, by the window. Second one by the magnet. Start coming up with the Twitch strong wall. Spots out Noah behind the Kiba, but it's probably already something they were assuming. Considering how effective they've been. Of course, now being wasted out by those bullets. That's possible since the latest update, since this season. No longer just having to take a hit on your explosive economy to get rid of that utility. Sure isn't a lot of Jigsaw quite close, but is the topple library stairs clear? That's the main part, otherwise it cannot go for the swing. And as Kenny is playing there, the answer is going to be no. Noah preemptively will activate his glasses in case of any flashbangs to come through. I think that's the right call, considering Jigsaw has plenty of them. But Kenny is the important factor. He literally holds this whole together out here from the side of ITB, because as soon as he falls, suddenly the mezzanines will drop as well.
Jigsaw does some of the scrape damage to Kenny, but Noah gets the end and the cover, and it's just this constant play from ITB. They keep getting themselves in and around
何を狙ってた
Fnatic
んだ
players without Fnatic seemingly ready for that quick response and doesn't
さすが
quite
にな。
get the win out there. That was sort of that toss-up fight, a difficult one for Deepak to take, but when you've only got 30 seconds left and you're in a 2 versus 4, you sort of have to take a little bit of a punchy risk. Wonder if Fnatic is going to have a bit of a moment, a bit of a conversation during this to try and tie things together a little bit. Where are things going wrong? ITV, I mean, you got to give credit to them. They're good at their second half. There's another one gets them one step closer.
5-4まで来ましたか。ちょっと今のラウンドお互いっていうか、フナティック側が何にあったかちょっと分かりづらかった。
So you'd be like, Creed would run to the other side of a soft, and you'd shoot him in the legs, he'd go down, and pick him back up, and then he's back on 50 HP.
I remember that. I've done a lot of that. So resetting my teammates.
When they have
They're just playing on site.
Fnatic. Well, they see a player leave, but they're not quite in a position to punish them. They have that sort of keen awareness. I'm wondering if they're going to pay a little bit more towards it here. As I said, it seems like there's frequently a second or a third in some cases ITV player that's gotten themselves tucked around into a corner of Fnatic's throat. They haven't quite been expecting. Flores drone stuck between decisions, isn't able to make anything of either unless it was just getting the hatch.
So terrorist coming out. Just waiting for a second there, realizing, oh, that's soft right behind. For a second there, I thought Jigsaw broke the cancel barricade with his gun, but
すげえジグソー英国なんだ。
Yeah, not
worrying.
Ooh, they have a ping on a player that
え、イングル自爆してた俺全然見てない。
race towards it, hoping the back of the yellow. You've got Tyrant rotate around
強
the
っ
back of Oscar, but it's Deepak.
これ 2.5 倍だな。
And this is a sort of awareness
これ 2.5 倍のショットだな、やっぱ。
by Fnatic. I said it was the
今
sort
の
of
ロング距離
misalignment.
は。
Seems like
I mean, they need to find those roamers, right? Like that's the issue.
1.5 倍でもできたかもしれないよ。
Getting struck in the back, it really hurts you. You want to be focusing on just the sight when you go. That
いい
is
タイミングで覗いたな、今。
unfortunate for Noah as he jumps through the rotate, gets picked up. Creed's looking to go aggressive as Jags will find Kenny. As they're playing in Solarium out here, has a bit of cover onto the window on the bathroom. A Creed being far removed as well might actually warrant a punt to come through soon.
down for the first time in what feels like a while.
すげえ。タイランと手離してたぞ。
Get themselves level.
まあ、人数相当有利だもんな。あとまとめればいいだけだもんな。 ピンも立ってしまった。しかもここ2枚締めてるからさ、今のクリーズの位置からカバーができないんだよね。こう覗くしかないんだよ、方法が。明日の実況大丈夫ですか？夜遅いってこと？まあまあでも午後からだからね。これも実況につながるための事前準備ってやつですから。明日午前中にどっか別のリーグの試合見るのはさすがに無理だね。この結果。ブラジル明日の夜見ようかな。
They go for the slow and steady take onto Romas once again. What is Kenny ready to play against? Is it just a ram? I think it is.
ブラジル5試合だからな、唯一の。世界唯一の5試合になってしまったからな。
Didn't do it then, doing it now, forcing him back towards the site. So he's no longer an issue on that flank.
いいてるいいてる。
Stick around. He was hoping they would see Creed's ping go down the stairs and just run blindly into him. But I don't think
ドローン結構怖そう。
pros wouldn't get themselves into such a quick death situation. A minute. We've got some control up top. Tyrant's just making sure nobody rotates underneath. They were kind of hoping they would play that loose game again, but otherwise, it's Jags getting Azza as the first find. The spray across the soft, whether it was against that impact or not.
ヘンリル早くなんとかしてほしいよな。 ソリスより先にフェンリルな状況に見えて、うわ、よくそれ抜いたなぁ。
We're gonna back to 4-4. Huge one for that round. Putting up the match. There comes the big E12 starting to open up vertically. That's what the impact was for. No more impacts left though on Kenny, and there's still going to be Bugis left, I believe, on the side. Not actually none left on the side of Jags, so we'll be able to do anything with that. Only a small amount of verticality here to play around. Spots out an elbow. Huge angle coming in from Jags. Caught out on the bottom of blue. Was able to at least get that swing back around. Suddenly it's 3 versus 3. ITB, they're not quite done yet. Leans into the fire. Pushes against the flash. 50 seconds, and they're going to see if they can try and get themselves plant and start to just behind the bookcase shelf itself.
F ナット重すぎ。今下の F ナットいいな。
The rotate comes around. Penny has the cross angle. Leon wants to stick.
うわー、ニトル残った。
Perfect cover for Kenny to get perfect cover onto Leon.
ニトロじゃなくてもよくこのシーン入る。あ？ジェグズさん？ただディフューザードロップ。あ！強いジェグズ回り込んでた。フナティック調子いいね。よし、これで EU は消化したぞ。NA はこのあったんだよな。最後の試合が反映されてないのかな。フナティック今3ポイント取ったから4ポイントでしょ。出ませんでした。というわけで間違えてますけども、BDS さんが6ポイント首位でございます。ITB も負けちゃったから。エンスがちょっとインパクトやっぱ残せてないね。バータスブラは1試合少ないからしょうがないとして、G2 がここからしっかり調子上げられるかやな。まあでも EU はね、枠が減ってるわけでもないんで、4チームですから。また新しいアプローチ見えそうですね。まあでも BDS、フナティックあたりは来そうな感じするけどね。シークレットが試合なかったのか。シークレットちょっとまた見たいところはあるけど。ウルブズも頑張れるかやな。というわけで皆さん最後までご視聴いただきありがとうございました。夜も遅くまでありがとうございました。さすがに RGL があるのでそろそろ寝ます。ちょっとまた夜遅い感じになるかもしれないけれども、引き続き他のエリアも見ていきたいと思いますので、よかったらフォロー、そしてよかったらサブスクよろしくお願いします。それはまた次回の配信でお会いしましょう。お疲れ様でした。